There we go. All right, I'm pretty excited for this game. First chance to get a look, I think, at both of these teams this year live for the cast, considering that we've done the Clippers for every single week so far.
And nearly did the Clippers again this week, but made the decision to switch off. And I enjoy doing NBA TV games every once in a while. And Sixers Jazz is a particularly interesting one. Something that I was reading John Schumann's NBA.com kind of schedule preview piece, and something that he brought up, which I'm going to keep an eye on in this game moving forward. Maybe we'll talk about this in the 15 and 60. Is the Sixers play half of their games this month, the full 8 out of 16, against teams that are in the top 10 in defense so far this year. And so we'll get a better sense of whether they have a good enough offense. And I mean, really, that is a basic fundamental question for whether the Sixers are true contenders.
Well, the Jazz got completely destroyed. They trailed 77-37 at halftime. No answers at all for Pascal Siakam. They had a couple of bad games defensively when Rudy Gobert was out, but he's been back now. I did not get a chance to watch that game because I was actually at, hey, who else? Clippers against Washington down in LA last night. But I really want to see this Gobert Embiid matchup. I don't think I've actually seen any of these games live yet. What do you think? Do you think Embiid is going to be able to get it going in the post against Gobert, or is he going to get shut down?
Well, what I think that Embiid's going to have some trouble, and the big part of that is I think the Jazz, generally, they've had good plans, Quinn Snyder, at how to attack teams' weaknesses, and the Sixers have very pronounced ones, and in this one, Josh Richardson's still unable to play, so we'll see how Brett Brown balances that, but I think they'll bring extra bodies when needed, but maybe in some more spot moments could be really interesting, but I mean, Gobert, if he's the defensive player of the year, he should be able to handle it, and I think that he will.
The other thing that's going to be interesting...
Oh, your mic's not on.
Oh.
Yay!
All right,
hey,
thanks,
at least
guys.
we did it before the broadcast.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Thank you.
All right, so anyway, as we were talking about the Embiid-Gobert matchup, to me, I think Embiid may struggle a little bit. Josh Richardson being out, he's probably their best outside shooter, their best dribbler off the pick and roll. He's been playing well of late. And then Trey Burke is also going to be out tonight with an illness. So probably going to see a lot of Raul Neto in the revenge game.
Yes.
No Trey Burke revenge game as well. A couple of ex-Jazz point guards on this Sixers team. I think, though, where it's going to get real interesting is the rotations. Is Quinn Snyder going to match up Rudy Gobert with Joel Embiid? He did that with Karl Anthony Towns. When Karl Anthony Towns got in foul trouble and went out, he took Gobert out as well because Embiid plays a non-traditional rotation, usually the 3 stints. Gobert usually just plays a more traditional rotation with 2 stints. And so with Ed Davis out and really no backup center, Tony Bradley is going to be totally overwhelmed by Embiid. We're going to see Snyder rejigger his rotation to match up Gobert and Embiid.
Someone else I want to watch in this is Boyan Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich was really hot in November, 22.4 points a game, fueled by 47% shooting on threes on 7 per game. So but the Sixers have a ton of players who can defend. You know, I'm assuming Simmons will have the primary assignment, but they can structure it in a few different ways if they want to put Simmons on Conley or Donovan Mitchell. But how those Jazzmen fare with talented one-on-one defenders, that would be more exciting if Josh Richardson were available, but can't have everything. So I'm excited to see how Utah's players can fare against this, because when we get to the playoffs, and I mean, Utah wants to think of themselves as a championship contender, a lot of these players are going to have to square off against really good defenders.
Yeah, I want to see who's going to guard Ben Simmons as well. Is that going to be Royce O'Neal, or are they going to put him on Tobias Harris? Who's going to guard Al Horford? Are they going to try and post up Al Horford at all? Horford's offensive numbers have been terrible with Embiid on the floor, pretty good with him off the floor. Gobert wins the tip, and Utah will control with Conley. They get it to Mitchell immediately. Furkan Korkmaz, not exactly as stout as Josh Richardson defensively, and he's guarding Mike Conley. That's somewhere where the Jazz can look to attack. Jazz trying to get the switch of Harris onto Conley. Now Conley looks to float with the right hand, and that's good. That's the shot that has not necessarily been there for him early this year. Good early sign for Utah.
And it looks like they're putting Royce O'Neal on Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I think I kind of actually like Bogdanovich on him, okay, but there's that right-handed floater from Simmons. Again, you'll see he very rarely goes into contact, and that's a shot I think the Jazz will live with to some degree. But that was actually off the dribble pick and roll from Simmons. You don't see hardly any of that from him. Here's Mitchell missing the very difficult mid-ranger. Mitchell has shot it well this year, but his shot distribution has not been good as there's Simmons attacking again, misses that again. You see he fades away from contact instead of just going right through the smaller Mitchell to get to the cup. Bogdanovich attacking off the dribble. Help comes from Embiid. They swing it, no advantage gained there. Pick and roll. Now they hand off, and Korkmaz did well to get his hand on it with 8 to shoot.
And I mean, something I'm going to be interested in this one is hitting open shots. I mean, it is a make or miss league, as many of our friends say, but I mean, I think the Jazz have much better people to handle that.
Bogdanovich closed down nicely by Harris, but hits it anyway.
Yeah, it's another tough shot, though. I mean, all tough shots in this game.
Yeah, a lot of mid-rangers from Utah this year, and Philly forces a ton of mid-rangers with the way they have Embiid hang back. Good denial by Mitchell on Harris, and then Conley with the steal. He rockets into the front court and lays it in. Great play, both wings from Utah. First a denial for Mitchell. He turned back the other way, and Conley got the steal there.
And that was a little bit late of a reaction from Tobias Harris, too. He might have been able to get there, but Conley's quick.
Here's our first Embiid post-up against Gobert. Simmons trying to duck in. Embiid going into Gobert, and Gobert will be called for the foul. Let's see if there was, in fact, contact. It looked like Gobert might have brought his arm forward a little bit. Yes, Embiid goes through the forward arm of Gobert. Good call.
And that was nearly sort of a Caspi cut from Ben Simmons, and what I mean by that is a cut that doesn't really do anything other than bring your defender into the primary action.
Yeah.
But Royce O'Neal decided to stick with Simmons instead of challenging Embiid to find him as a passer. I think O'Neal could have done an opportunity double there. Would have helped out Gobert.
Embiid hitting the first free throw is an excellent free throw shooter for a big. Yeah, Rob McIntyre noting that there is quite a rivalry, oddly, between these two fan bases with the Rookie of the Year thing, the Defensive Player of the Year thing. Both of those awards between Mitchell and Simmons, and then Gobert and Embiid, have gotten these two fan bases against each other. There's the top side from Harris. Bogdanovich goes back door, but Embiid shuts that down. Now Bogdanovich on the drive again, stopped by Embiid again. They go under to Gobert, and he'll put it in and count it. Nice movement, and it was Embiid falling down there that opened up the pass to Gobert.
Yeah, and a nice job of finding Gobert when he had that advantage before Embiid got back up, also low in the shot clock.
And Rudy Gobert deserves so much credit for the way he's worked on his body, his finishing around the rim. He was very coltish when he first came in, just couldn't go through guys as he makes the free throw, and would just get bumped off around the rim. And that'll still happen to him occasionally, but he is much, much stronger, much better finisher. Simmons hands off to Horford. They switch that. Now Horford trying to get in the post. Likes to go left shoulder. Does so. Bucket.
And remember, the Jazz are playing so much smaller at power forward now than they used to with Derek Favors.
Bogdanovich off the Gobert screen. Snakes into the lane. Another tough mid-ranger. That time they force the miss. They call it out. Mitchell guarding Harris. Here's Simmons. And that time he goes into contact and draws the foul. Nice job by Simmons that time.
And you brought this up about how these teams force mid-rangers. Neither team has taken a three-pointer yet in this entire game. 6 shots for the Jazz, and now 3 plus these are going to be the third and fourth free throws for Philly.
Yeah, commenter mentioned that Ed Davis is playing tonight. Let me double check on that.
Interesting.
I was driving back from LA all day, so I didn't have a chance to check in on the news. Simmons missing the second free throw, rebounded by Horford. Nice close down by Mitchell on Korkmaz, but here's Horford with the size advantage again. Out to Korkmaz. Quick release by Furkan Korkmaz.
When I lamented the Sixers not having different looks a couple times recently, and Korkmaz, I don't think he's better than Josh Richardson, but at least he's a fast shooter.
Yeah, so Davis actually is, in fact, back. He came back a couple of games ago. I don't know how I missed that. Here's Mitchell. Deep three with 7 on the clock is off. Neither team getting amazing looks, although the score doesn't reflect it. Simmons, again, they load to him. Embiid, deep 3 of his own, and that is good. man, Joel Embiid without hesitation from the left wing.
I really like the lower body on that. Very smooth into that motion.
Yeah, and that's if he can just bomb those like that. I mean, that really changes their whole offense. Bogdanovich, again, you see every time they test Embiid, they get nowhere. Now they get it back to Gobert, but Embiid is there. Gobert looking to post up Embiid, bad reach, and still, now he did stop him initially, but Gobert was able to get the rebound, and it was all because Embiid gave up position with that reach. You don't need to reach against Rudy Gobert. He's not some great post player. Just stay conservative, force him into a tough shot. Embiid, pump faking again. Now he looks to hand off to Harris. Denied by Mitchell, way out on the floor with 7 on the clock. Back to Embiid. Late clock, 5.
Turnover.
No, he backed him off enough. It's a bucket. Oh, never mind. But Horford right there beating Bogdanovich. Al Horford making his presence felt inside. We noted how he had struggled some with Embiid on the floor. With Embiid outside, Horford able to go inside. I think a lot of that strategy seems to be to draw Gobert away from the rim. Here's Royce O'Neal driving. Left hand over Embiid. Beautiful finish. But that's still good defense from Embiid. I know he made that layup, but he made it difficult on him. Harris, late contest for Mitchell, doesn't go down. We're going to be saying that a lot, Danny. We're going to be seeing those rear view contests from the foul line are going to be pretty important in this game. Here's Conley, stopped by Korkmaz. He is very upset about not getting a foul, and they go for the Euro foul in transition on Tobias Harris.
And I'm a little bit surprised that Utah hasn't pressed the Conley advantage as much so far. They've been using Bogdanovich a lot as the initiator in pick and roll actions, and Conley has the greater advantage on Furkan Korkmaz.
Here's Simmons going at O'Neal. That time, again, couldn't overpower him. Mitchell stripped away from behind. Now Simmons is ahead of the field. Conley able to get a hand on it. The pass was poor, and it'll go back to Utah.
Yeah, it was a terrible lead pass by Furkan Korkmaz there. It was too high and too wide, and so Simmons couldn't corral it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're throwing the ball to a 6'10 guy up against a 6'1 guy, err on the side of it being too high. So we get the under 7 timeout here. What were you going to say?
I was going to say we could talk about bookies.com.
Please do.
Yeah, so I think the most interesting part for me about bookies.com is that it is an information service. And so having the live updating odds and payouts on the same place is really compelling, because then, you know, maybe you have a read on what you want. Well, no matter if you have the read, you still want to get the best odds that you can for it. And so having that all in one place for every game, whether you're looking for the spread or you're looking for the money line, I think that's a really valuable tool for those who are choosing to gamble to have at their disposal.
Yeah, bookies.com also has Mark Stratman, who's been, I should recheck, by the way. It's been 2 weeks now, maybe. But hopefully Mark hasn't just totally tailed off. But last I checked, he was batting about 57% on his NBA picks. And also they have been repurposing some of our content as well. We don't necessarily know much about gambling, but for those of you who do seem to like it, apparently our stuff is useful, and they actually know what they're doing and can interpret it to help you gamble. So
yeah, and that's also another reason that you can follow them on Twitter too, @bookies BOOKIES, and sometimes they put those things on there so you can check it out. And it is funny to see our work interpreted another way, because we don't think that way, but I guess it is something that people who know how to read what we do can infer and interpret.
Is Rudy Gobert the best role man in the NBA? There are statistics that might indicate that. I think, though, first of all, he can't pop at all. So you want to have guys with the versatility to both roll and pop. And then you also want guys who, if you trap the pick and roll, can make a decision and attack. So someone like John Collins, I think, ultimately might be a better role man. Now, are you talking about actually setting the screen as well? Then maybe Gobert is a real good
screen setter.
Real good screen setter. But I think like Montrezl Harrell, for example, would be a better one. Now Gobert obviously is a very good role man, and he brings some other elements as well. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Dwight Powell has always had great numbers there as well. The Mavs offensive numbers with
Yeah,
him
there
on
was
the floor.
was that McMahon who had that today?
Yeah.
That with Luka, they've been significantly better when Powell has been on the floor than when he has not. And considering they have plenty of other capable offensive bigs, I think it is interesting. We're still a little bit small sample size theater.
They're looking to set up Conley here. Now it's Bogdanovich coming off of 2 screens, curls into the lane, and they're going to get, I think this is going to be a hold on Simmons, who prevented Gobert from rolling to the basket.
Yeah, that was a little bit cheeky, but I wonder whether Gobert sold that a little bit or he was just a little off balance and it took him down. Either way, it worked.
So Ennis is in, Embiid, you mentioned that non-traditional rotation is out. Horford now plays center. They have been terrible without either Horford or Embiid on the floor. And there's a nice pass, but Gobert couldn't quite handle it. There you see, he doesn't have the most amazing hands. Here's Harris with the push and could not finish over Bogdanovich. Joe Ingles, pick and roll. He's really struggled this year. Gets extension on the layup. Can't. Here's Gobert right back up, and it curls in.
And Horford had to contest the Ingles finish, so he wasn't there for the offensive rebound, or for the defensive rebound.
James Ennis, they go under on him. He'll pull it, and Utah will live with that all day. Ennis spotting up, maybe it can make that, but on the move, not necessarily. Here's Bogdanovich blowing past, but a nice play from Ennis to disrupt the layup attempt. Simmons looking to push. He's got O'Neal back. Euro steps, has to throw it into nowhere. Jazz intercept. Now Bogdanovich chased by Horford. Oh,
what
stopped.
a block!
He tried to go for the left-handed poke and was denied. Here's Harris open for the corner. Nice job by Conley running him off and forcing the miss. Nice job there. End-to-end action. Nobody can score. Now Ingles, he's got Gobert running the floor. It's O'Neal right down the lane, and Ben Simmons was distracted by Gobert trying to post up, never turned to help. And Horford just got face cut. That was bad, tired defense there after that exchange. Korkmaz, quick release. Again, he's not even dipping the ball right now. Couldn't get that one. Utah with the 1-point advantage coming up on 5 minutes left here. Bogdanovich posting up on Korkmaz. They better help. They didn't.
Yeah, and so Bogdanovich got into a better rhythm there than on the pick and rolls because he could just press that advantage backing into Furkan Korkmaz.
Here's Simmons. They're way under on him right now.
Oh, thanks for catching that.
Horford off the 3-pointer. Simmons, they forced help at the free throw line, and Horford was able to drain it. Gobert now guarding Horford. Horford gave Gobert problems when he would play center for the Celtics. Here's Simmons trying to topside Bogdanovich. Very physical matchup. Pass behind Bogdanovich. Simmons takes it away. Pushing again. 3-on-3. Harris sprints to the corner. Wide open 3 is good.
And that's now the 4th made 3 for the Sixers. They're 4 of 7. The Jazz are 0 for 1. That's amazing.
Yeah, 0 for 1. Wow, that's... I mean, the Jazz...
And that one was that deep Donovan Mitchell pull. That was
right,
the
yeah,
only one of the entire...
off the dribble. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the Sixers do a great job of not allowing threes, but that is a very, very low number. I assume that will pick up to some degree. Now, they have been getting... I'd be interested, actually. I'm going to pull up their shot chart.
Yeah,
They've been getting a fair number at the rim.
Yeah, and I mean, some of those around the rim have been better contested, but still, I mean, 1 3 off the dribble, 0 catch and shoot. That's a challenge. It's a great time if you have questions. That's an interesting random question. Well, actually, let's do that one first. Are there rules around NBA media personalities and gambling? Not that I know of. That would be an interesting thing for.
I mean, my guess would be that most media organizations would have rules against doing that.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, you know, Bill Simmons clearly gambles, right? Like,
Yeah.
like there's, and he worked for a major outlet for a while. I mean, I do think there would be some ethical quandaries if you really had inside information.
Well, so the to me the most interesting one of those would be title odds if you know where a free agent is going to go. So, like, let's say you happen to know 12 hours early that Kawhi and Paul George were going to the Clippers. That theoretically would be a big financial. But again, that's not like, or I guess people who know injury information, like that
Yeah.
a player is going to be scratched.
Well,
That could be huge.
I think it is. There are just like rules. I mean, again, I know nothing about gambling, but like, I'm pretty sure it's just illegal to gamble with inside information.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never known how that compares with the stock market. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Since we don't really do that, it's not in our purview.
So really interesting stuff here on the shot charts.
Oh, that's a good one from Bricklayer Joe. After you.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We can.
So per Bricklayer Joe, Bill Simmons can't bet on MVP because he can vote on it.
Oh yeah, well
that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Per noted reporter, Bricklayer Joe. Not that I'm questioning your veracity, Joe, but it was kind of funny. Like, oh well, here is now we've got it. So Jazz 7 of 12 in the restricted area. 12 of their 17 shots have come at the rim. You mentioned how they are not taking any threes. There's only one. Sixers have only taken 3 shots at the rim, which Jazz have been cutting that off a little bit, although they have gotten some pretty decent looks from floater range that on drives or post-ups that I would still consider to be good shots, even if they weren't technically in the restricted area. All right, we're back here. Dante Exum has returned from that partially torn patellar tendon. Jeff Green and Ed Davis up front. Mitchell is back. He gets to the foul line with Simmons chasing him, and that's the shot that Donovan Mitchell has been taking a lot of, hitting a fair amount of, but maybe a few too many of those for the overall efficiency of the Jazz.
But still, that was one of the cleanest looks Utah's had all game.
Horford going to attack Davis. Out to James Ennis, crossing over nicely into Mitchell, but gets stopped, and they're going to say, what, he was out of bounds?
I think they're going to say that the ball bounced out of bounds. Yeah, and that's another reminder of the limited three-point shooting on this Sixers team.
Or did they say he traveled? I see what they call
I thought Mitchell touched the ball.
Yeah, so Simmons guarding Mitchell. Mitchell going right at him to a difficult step back. A little early in the clock for that shot. But those two guys have a little bit of a rivalry. Interesting to see how that plays out. Now Dante Exum, again, Simmons with the weight advantage. Horford drives right down the lane, and that's a poor closeout from Ed Davis. We've been saying it ever since we've done this cast. You close out to Al Horford's right hand. He didn't do it. Exum into the lane against his fellow number 11, and he really has no move there. You see that, Danny? That's like the lack of skill from him, but there's Jeff Green attacking to his right on a closeout. These are the two biggest right-hand closeout drivers in the league, maybe. Here's Horford. Again, quick push from Ben Simmons gets Horford that open three, even after a make. That's got to warm your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I love running after makes, and Al Horford, 12 points already in this game, including 2 3-pointers.
Mitchell off a little Iverson cut. Pick comes from Davis. He backs into position. Now he's got Simmons on his back. Floats. Short.
And that's now Mitchell 1 for 3 on mid-rangers in this little pocket of the game.
Yeah, they are going to him every time. Now here's Simmons off balance, and they're going to call Dante Exum, I think, for the hold here. Yeah, the left arm grabbed him.
Well, and part of the reason they might have called that is Simmons was really close to traveling, and the reason why is because he got pulled.
So we're going to get a timeout, or maybe we're not going to get a timeout here. We're going to get Joel Embiid back instead. So many Sixers were walking to the bench, I thought it must be a timeout, but no, that's just Brett Brown's
line change
substitution patterns. And there is Raul Neto, who we mentioned in the open. Simmons is wearing out the Jazz. They're glad to see the back of him for the time being. Here's Ed Davis fronting Embiid. There's help behind, and going to be a foul on Joe Ingles swiping at the ball. He actually reached in, but the foul was on Ingles.
Yeah, and I don't think that was like a malicious act or anything from Korkmaz.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen extreme cases of that type of flopping be punished before. Back about 10 years ago, Kobe Bryant did that on a jump shot and smacked Manu Ginobili in the face pretty badly. Ended up getting suspended for a game.
By the way, how is it that there's still broadcasts that don't say when a team is in the bonus? I complain about team fouls all the time, but that is just ludicrous.
There's more hand fighting from Korkmaz and Ingles, no call. There's Thibault trying to deny Mitchell. Oh, what a pass underneath, but Embiid is still there, And Davis can't finish. That was a great pass, but there you see the genius of Joel Embiid defensively, forcing the pass and forcing the miss from the target. Ed Davis fighting with Embiid. No call was made there again. Embiid, they're just making him work here. Embiid is not in the type of shape I think he was at the start of last year. Embiid turning and facing. Davis backing off. Now back to goal. Ingles forces him to pick up. Double comes from Exum and a miss. Nice defense by the Jazz there, but two separate guys double teamed. Here's a tough pass from Green to Exum, and he did lead him out of bounds there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a hard pass when you're for Jeff Green driving, trying to throw it out to the corner, but it was too wide. That is now I believe the third turnover for the Jazz that squares it up, and neither team really on the offensive glass. 2 for each side so far.
Here's the fake screen. Neto into the lane at Exum. Exum was out of bounds after he got the strip. Nice defense, though. And that's an action. They're running some of the stuff that they used to run for Redick, for Furkan Korkmaz. That time, Korkmaz faking the screen, and that was just enough to distract Exum for a drive initially, but he was able to recover. Embiid with 12 on the clock, turning and facing against Davis. Rips through. Oh, man, he just went right through him.
Just beasted him. And Davis, I mean, very talented player, but Joel Embiid he's a force. He's just a giant human being.
Yeah, and there, Davis not having a good understanding of where his help was coming from is there. Again, Mitchell forced to pass it. Exum, that was just a terrible possession by him. He passes up the shot and then almost loses it. 4 on the clock. Mitchell against Thibault, pulls in his face, way off. But yeah, I mean, that's Mitchell. You see how he's got to create so much for these guys with Bogdanovich and Conley out of the game. Embiid feeling it against Davis. Help comes. That time, Joe Ingles got him. He put his back to goal. Ingles with a nice understanding on when to double team. Jazz will run it down, though, here with about a 4-second differential. Ingles directing traffic with Davis under the hoop. Sixers pre-switched this action. Now they call Davis up to involve Embiid. Ingles attacking Embiid. Baseline. Nowhere to go. Tries to go up. No chance. Just rejected. And that'll be a shot clock violation.
And that's a pretty big advantage for the Sixers because now they can throw the ball without the clock running. Otherwise, they were going to chuck something from half court.
I mean, Embiid, it's kind of interesting, Danny. The Jazz just don't even let you get shots at the rim when Gobert is in. Whereas Embiid, he's getting them to try him and then just stopping him. Here's the pass back to Neto. He's going to have to shoot it off the glass. Floats it up.
Oof, that was close.
Yeah. We need the LeBron James from the 2018 playoffs to make that shot off the glass.
Yeah, no, really impressive to me defensive first quarter from the Philadelphia 76ers. The Jazz only took 2 3-pointers, both Donovan Mitchell pulls. One was a tough one off the dribble. The other one was late clock, a little bit awkward. All the rest of it, we'll go through their shot charts later. So that is just a second. I want to get the actual number because we have it from RT Hoops. 88.5 offensive rating for the Utah Jazz, and yeah, some of that is the Jazz not being able to create very well, but I think a lot of that is also Philadelphia playing excellent defense.
Yeah, while Ben Simmons only had 2 points on 4 shooting possessions, he did have 4 assists and 2 steals. He really got that Sixers running game going. Al Horford, 12 points on 5 of 5, 2 of 2 from downtown. Sixers 5 of 8 from downtown as a team. For the Jazz, Gobert leading them with 7 points. Mitchell 1 of 6. A bit of a struggle for him. A team worst -8. He was not able to get it going for the Jazz as the primary creator on the second unit. Thoughts on the Jazz so far this year, Danny? Better? Worse?
Their offense has been worse than I expected. I mean, Bogdanovich has done well. He had that great November, but Conley's kind of extended struggles and also just not the non-Mitchell lineups having as little offense as they have has been really surprising me. Defense has been better overall. They did miss Ed Davis when he was out, but I would say I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, I had the Jazz as a very good team, but not a championship contender, kind of like the Nuggets, but they had a higher upside because the Nuggets were pretty much a proven concept, whereas the Jazz had more upside. And that's pretty much where I am right now.
Yeah, defense better, offense a lot worse. So, and I think they're overall a little bit worse than I thought they would be.
But I still have hope that their offense can be where I thought it would be. You know,
Yeah.
like that. It is. I haven't seen anything that to me has been like a real structural, foundational concern.
Well, what about the shot distribution?
Yeah, but I mean, over the course of the season, I think they'll figure a little bit more out. I'm still optimistic. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I am.
What percentage in practice conditions would I shoot free throws? As we're almost back here. I don't practice them very often. If you gave me sort of like 15 minutes to like get back in rhythm again, I can probably shoot like 75, 80%. I was 3 for 3 in the media game, which was 6 points because we were only doing one free throw. All right, we're back here looking to get Embiid posted up. Instead, it's a drive from Thibault. That sets up Mike Scott, and he couldn't get it. Swing it back to Korkmaz off the offensive rebound. Trying to post up Embiid. Double team comes. 8 on the clock. They've got Thibault on the weak side. They're just going to leave him. Instead, it's Neto going to the step back on Dante Exum. That's not a shot that I believed Raul Neto had in the bag. He's been a solid open three-point shooter, but not able to generate many shots. Here's Mitchell. Thibault, one of the best in the NBA at the rear view contest. Mitchell could not get it.
1 for 7 now from the field for Mitchell.
Yeah, and he hasn't gotten a single shot at the rim yet. Here's Neto on the blow-by, but blows the layup. Now Jeff Green looking to push it. Sixers are back. He's going right at Embiid. Took off from so far away. What a finish that was. Off the right foot, right-handed finish. Embiid was not expecting it. Now they'll screen for Embiid to the foul line. Pass is a little late from Scott. He'll take the jumper anyway, and it rattles out. Drag screen from Davis for Ingles. Ingles into the mid-range. Doesn't have much mid-range game. Exum, they help off of him. He can't make them pay again. And now they're going to get a foul here on Korkmaz. We have seen plenty of hand fighting between Korkmaz and Ingles so far tonight.
And what's interesting there is I think you can make an argument, depending on how you want to officiate, that like Davis he got a little loose with his screen there, and that created part of the problem, but Korkmaz was fighting too hard through it, so that's a foul on Korkmaz. I think that's the reason Davis started shuffling in with him.
Fresh 14. Mitchell as they go under on him, and that's a good look for Mitchell, but he can't hit it. That's the Jazz third three-point attempt, all of them Donovan Mitchell above the break threes off the dribble. Embiid handing off to Thibault. Engages Ed Davis, goes for the mid-ranger, and that's not a good shot from Thibault. Exum has Scott on him, into the lane. We haven't seen yet, and then he's called for the travel. We haven't seen those bursts of athleticism, Danny, that made Dante Exum so intriguing, or even a good transition player. He does not look to be the same athletically, at least so far here. Obviously, it's early in his return.
Yeah, it has been disappointing, but I want to give him a little bit more time.
Embiid, they try to get Harris off a screen from Neto, then the handoff. A lot of work for a mid-ranger, but it goes down.
And this is a lineup where you would hope that Tobias Harris could really do some heavy lifting, and it's good to actually see him do one there.
Jazz got to actually score some points here for once. And now, again, Thibault, though he is an excellent defender, probably good to have him in at the start of the second quarter because he commits a lot of fouls, and at least it's not going to get you in the bonus. And, yeah, you see Thibault going through Mitchell. Mitchell probably actually could have anticipated that contact and gone up for the shot.
Lou Williams would have.
Yeah. Here's the back door for Mitchell, but Embiid, preternatural instincts is right there. They swing it out to Jeff Green. His three is not there. Tobias Harris, I thought, actually overhelped.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
But Green couldn't make it happen. Now Harris snaking it again. He's got Embiid out at the three-point line. He'll jack it. A little bit aggressive there. Again, I would say this is a rock fight.
It could be Embiid, the guys that you just want them to make their first jump shot because they get confident. And so now I think he's 1 for 3 after making that first one.
Man, Korkmaz, he definitely flops a lot, and he definitely fouls a lot. This is yet another foul involving him. But, yeah, that's a good call with Davis sticking his arm out and grabbing him.
And Davis was also still moving to his right when the contact happened.
Yeah, he did a lot there. So interesting. They have not matched up Embiid and Gobert's minutes, trusting Ed Davis to do that instead. Gobert is back now. Here's Harris, pick and roll coming here with Embiid. Gets to that right hand. Help comes from Ingles. Back to Korkmaz. Great job by Ingles helping and retreating to the shooter to prevent the shot. Here's a pull from Harris off the dribble. Embiid on the offensive glass. Great job by O'Neal keeping it alive. Now Jazz have a 4-on-4. Nice lob to Gobert. Up with it and scores over Korkmaz and one.
And a nice job of Gobert pressing the advantage, knowing that Joel Embiid went for the offensive rebound. There's no one else who, since Al Horford wasn't on the floor, who could check him.
Yeah, it was interesting. They had the mismatch at one end. Gobert has to get out on Harris. Embiid thinks, I have the advantage on the offensive glass. But no, in fact, by going there, he gives Gobert that exact same advantage.
And Embiid was going for a 1-on-4 offensive rebound, and when you do that, you can't even tip it, because if you tip it, the only people who are going to get it are your opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that too much. Did he run in from the 3-point line?
I think he did.
Yeah, those are the tough ones when you make the decision of when to do it and when not. I mean, he did have the advantage. He almost got it. Here's the backdoor. Ennis, nice help by O'Neal off of Simmons. Swing it out to Horford. His three off the pass from Thibault. Nice drive and decision
3 for 3,
there,
Al
right?
Horford on 3.
There's your 2 dribbles and a good decision from Matisse Thibault.
Absolutely.
Who has struggled mightily offensively so far this year. Good sign from him. Conley pick and roll Gobert. Floats over Horford. Yet another Jazz missed floater. Ben Simmons looking to push in transition again. Gobert sprinting back nicely. They leave it for Horford. No advantage gain. Nice job by Gobert getting back. Now Harris pick and roll with Horford. Into the mid-range on. Jeff Green clobbers him.
Really small thing for people who can rewind that I really like that Thibault just did. So it was a rebound. I think it was Horford who got it, and he was trying to pass it to Ben Simmons. And I think it was Mitchell was just kind of staying around to try to get the steal. So Thibault just stood in his way. He just waited an extra beat before he ran down court and opened up the pass and didn't screw up the offense. Guys don't do that enough of just make sure that the pass is there. And now Tobias Harris, the Jazz also, so we talked about how they haven't taken any threes. They also haven't gotten to the free throw line at all. They've got 2 free throws so far, those 2 from Rudy Gobert. And right now, the Sixers, these are going to be 7 and 8 for them. So it's the 3-point shot and the free throw line, even if they've missed a couple because of Ben Simmons.
Who's got the best center rotation in the league? Got to say Philly, right? I mean, it's basically Horford or Embiid.
Basically an all-star every minute. And except for those limited, like Kyle O'Quinn, and he's not terrible, but they've been rough in those minutes.
Yeah. Conley picked up again by Thibault, has to pass it out, and they're going to get a walk on Conley here. Matisse Thibault, you see what all the hype is about for him defensively. Utah has 4 points in this quarter.
Yeah, it's a 9-4. It's a 9-4 run, but I would say the Sixers have gotten better looks too.
Horford looking to DHO. They switch a little bit. Now it's Harris. Nice switching by the Jazz. Harris into the combination of Gobert and Green misses, and then Horford called for the loose ball foul in the rebounding action with Conley.
Yeah, he was fending off Conley with his left arm.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that call. I thought Horford had the inside position the whole time. Yeah, okay, he got him right in the face. That is a good call. Conley. Now they're going to screen for Bogdanovich. Now he gets the pick and roll. Bogdanovich pulling from way out and way off. Ennis looking to push it. Jazz are back. Goes into 2 guys. Back out to Harris. Good push from Ennis. But Harris has missed his fair share of open ones. Conley trying to get something on the board here for the Jazz. Horford laying back. Conley's floater. Gobert. His tip is no good. Sixers now have a 3-on-3. This is Simmons back to Thibault. Thibault didn't have his feet set. Just jacks it and hits.
And we're up to a 16-point lead for Philadelphia here. And remember, the Jazz are on a back-to-back.
Well, yeah, they I don't think they
a
even
sort
played
of back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, to be down 77-37 at the first half, I don't know if they even played a quarter last night, frankly. So let's tell them about our sponsor, Bookies.com here, Danny.
Yeah, Bookies.com they run on the idea that knowledge is money. They're trying to give you the edge to crush online bookies.
Crush online bookies.
Yeah, whether you're doing spreads, money lines, totals, or parlays, and they do that through a lot of things. I talked before about what I really like is the idea that you can get the live odds everywhere. So you can compare more than a dozen US based sports books that are all legal, which is fantastic. And so you can get that there. But also, if you're looking for information, what things you actually want to bet, if you don't have that insight yet, then you can get that there too.
Yeah, visit them, bookies.com, to sign up for the best deals available in your state. You can go there and get you the best picks, the latest odds, the most valuable sports betting information, and follow @bookies on Twitter so you will not miss any of the latest sports betting odds and information.
Is that Justin Anderson courtside? It looked like him.
I never noticed these things.
Yeah. Thoughts on Mellow and Portland's 3-game streak? First of all, really happy for Mellow. He won Western Conference Player of the Week, whether or not that was deserved. But I'm really happy for him overall. But as came up a little bit on Twitter today, it is worth mentioning that it is a non-representative sample. I mean, if they get to play the Bulls every night, I think Mellow would look pretty damn good. But they're going to start playing some better defenses, and things will look a little bit different. And also, his defense has still been bad.
Yeah, I can't say that I've watched any of those 3 games. So
I watched the middle one, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Yeah. I watched the first one against New Orleans when he looked terrible.
Yeah.
So I will respectfully decline comment based on 3 games. But I mean, the one thing I will say, I have watched some of his possessions in those games, but not the whole game, is that he does look to be better athletically. I think he's lost some weight. I think the time off has done him some good. He's got some explosion.
We're not getting a great start for Hornets over, baby, against the Suns. Good for Phoenix, though.
Is that Ty Jerome?
I believe that is
making
Ty
his
Jerome.
season debut. Oh, these are some old school Heat uniforms. Oh no, that's
the Hawks.
I thought that was like the original Miami Heat uniforms. Then a packed Rocket Golden One Center here.
Well, I mean, that game didn't start for a few hours. Thanks to Zach Bagu, he said, love all the content, keep it coming. That is a good way to mention patreon.com/Duncan LaRue. We're going to have a mailbag podcast very soon.
Now they trap Conley in the corner. Bogdanovich, quick release. And man, he got stopped by Horford. Could have gotten a piece of that. Bogdanovich with 2 ugly misses. Here's Harris. Back to Simmons for the layup. And this starting to get out of hand here. Utah needs to see the ball go through the basket, or they're just going to get blown out in this game. You can't get this analysis anywhere else. They leave Green. Man,
Jesus.
Is that 3 straight shots from 3 that haven't even hit the rim by Utah?
At least the Bogdanovich and Jeff Green ones. There might have been a third one in there.
Well, no, the Bogdanovich one above the break. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Jazz are now 0 for 7 on threes. So at least they're getting up a couple attempts, I guess.
Yeah. 5 in this quarter, but they haven't even been close. Here's Horford handing off to Harris. Mitchell forcing him to the right hand into Gobert. Now they switch it. Horford looking to post with 10 on the clock. They scram him out of there. Harris going at Gobert. Man, that's a no-hoper. Tobias Harris has not played that well. And then Ben Simmons with the obvious foul trying to reach in on O'Neal. I don't know whether Simmons was like flopping to try to draw a call, but yeah, I mean, O'Neal did run into him to some degree. I do think that the league needs to look at it a little bit more when offensive players take an unnatural path like that.
Agreed.
And that's what Brett Brown is trying to say. So Utah, their one saving grace right now is being in the bonus, and Brett Brown is going to make us wait to see the outcome of these 2 free throws.
We got a good question from R. McIntyre. From him. Of what is the best 5-out lineup in the league?
Oh.
I don't think it's Houston because of Russell Westbrook. I mean, he can be great at attacking.
You're talking about with
PJ.
PJ Center. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really say the Nuggets would be.
I think I go. I think I go with
yeah.
the Clippers variant.
I mean, 5 out in the sense that your 5 is stretch. Milwaukee is kind of that when you're putting the ball in Giannis's hands every time.
Yeah, that's another good call.
I mean, and we haven't really seen that Clippers group yet.
Jamaica at the 5.
With JaMychal Green. Yeah, what else would be there? Boston hasn't really gone much with that. Maybe when Hayward comes back, maybe we'll see some centerless.
I mean, Marcus Gasol's basically only taking threes now.
Yeah.
But I don't think of him the same way.
Bulls with Luke Cornett at center?
No, they said best.
Well, actually, no. I think it's probably Dallas with some of the Porzingis at center lineup.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That might be it. That's pretty darn difficult to deal with. Yeah, I don't know. Would you consider an Anthony Davis at center lineup a 5-out lineup?
I don't think it would just yet, but we're getting into the conversation there. Rank from David Idile, or I can't tell if it's an I or no. It's hard with Periscope comments. Rank the top tier East teams. I'm still not enough of a believer in the Sixers offense to put them in the same tier as the Bucks. So I'm going to have the Bucks by themselves. Then I'm going to have the Sixers. I'm trying to figure out if I would have the Raps or the Celtics with them.
I would not. I would have those.
Yeah, I think I would have them by themselves, then Raps, Celtics, and then I'm going to have a gap with the Heat, partially because the Heat, and this is going to be something in the 15 and 60, they're insane opponent shooting luck. I think their defense is just not quite as good as it has looked so far.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have as good of a best player as those teams. They don't have as good a. Well, I guess Jimmy Butler is.
But I think it's their functional depth. I mean, I don't think of that. I think the Raps.
Oh, so did Brett Brown challenge? I think he must have challenged. That's probably what this was. And oh wow, it gave it to him. How about that? Overturned. I like the call. I don't think it doesn't seem like that consistent to me, but I like that. Royce O'Neal took a deviant path as there's a nice steal by Mitchell. Oh, Thibault out of nowhere. Oop to Simmons for the dunk. And what a play there. I mean, that all started, Danny, because Simmons, a 6'10" guy, Mike Conley wants to push the ball down on a fast break, and Ben Simmons turns him twice in the backcourt and makes him kind of just throw it away and give up trying to attack him. And Thibault just came out of nowhere. Now Simmons with a fake DHO right to the rim. Man, Utah is getting destroyed. Now Bogdanovich, I thought he traveled, but then he just throws it away anyway. Harris, he's got Ennis in the corner. Ennis closed down nicely by Bogdanovich. Then he takes the three anyway. Wow. Utah trails by 25. What is this run now? This has got to be 16-0, the broadcast tells us.
16-0, and Embiid hasn't been on the floor for most of this.
Pretty good challenge there by Brett Brown, huh? Here's the screen. Conley going to try and get it back one mid-ranger at a time, and they got to go in first before you can do that. Yeah, I mean, this is back-to-back nights that Utah has trailed by 25 in the first half. James Ennis step back 1-footer from the left elbow. Might be feeling it a little too much there.
Can you have a heat check inside the free throw line?
Gobert gets away with an illegal screen, and finally they get to the basket. And
that's Mitchell. That's Mitchell's first shot close at all to the rim.
Yeah, and the problem there was the matchups were screwed up. They had Horford on Bogdanovich, and the primary help guy was Harris. Now Harris trying to get it back and does over Gobert. Mitchell wanted the ball. Conley now drops it back for him. Mitchell against Thibault into the lane. Snakes it and scores it over Horford. Donovan Mitchell getting a little more aggressive with Embiid out, and Utah closing to within 23. They go way under on Simmons again, get him to the elbow. Flare screen set for Harris. Now Gobert, at least he closed out to the right hand of Horford. Ennis, tough footwork, tough bucket and the foul.
And the push-ups. That's fantastic. Yeah, and Ennis has looked more confident in his shot in this game than I've recalled anytime recently.
Yeah.
This is the loudest the quiet tournament winner has looked in a while, at least for me.
I mean, yeah, that footwork now, pretty limited contact there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That is a horseshit call. He didn't touch him. Like, he didn't land on him. The follow-through maybe runs into the arm of Bogdanovich. And a justified miss there. Ball don't lie. Gobert looking for Mitchell off the Conley screen. Mitchell steps in, and he's going to get fouled by Ben Simmons. Simmons not really in a stance when that Conley screen came through, and that's what enabled Mitchell to get open. Tried to make up for it, but compounded the error with the foul.
And I'm guessing, for me, that looked initially like high-five contact, but I'm guessing the ref had a better angle on it than I did, so I'm guessing it's just if we see a replay closer up that he got a little lower on the arm. Quick score update from around the league. Phoenix is now up 18 on the Hornets, 55-37, about the same point in the first half, and then the Warriors are up 19-14 on the Hawks midway through the first quarter.
Yeah, people are asking if we'll do like a little bit of red zone here. Maybe we should. I mean, with this being a 26-point game, if this doesn't get any closer before halftime, maybe we can switch to another game at half. I mean, what else do we got here? Hawks. It'll have to be Hawks. Warriors.
We could do a portion of Indy Memphis if we wanted.
When does that start? 5?
Starts at 5, so we'll be about halftime of this game. I'm guessing we'd rather do that than Knicks Bucks. Actually, Knicks Bucks.
Is it in New York?
No, it's in Milwaukee.
Oh, that's gonna be a massacre. And they're gonna get Simmons for yet another push-off. So that's 2 fouls. Yeah, he got him with the elbow in the throat, and Ingles. Yeah, I mean, between Ingles and Korkmaz, yeah, and that's a foul. He gets him in the elbow now. And good job, by the way, by Ingles, just kind of moving his head back but not falling down and potentially running afoul of the flop.
And actually backing away the correct direction as opposed to the Patrick Beverly.
yeah, exactly. Great defense by Ennis on Bogdanovich, and then it wasn't great defense when Bogdanovich ripped through his arm. It'll be 2 free throws for Utah.
Yeah, and those early fouls by Thibault, they come back to bite a little bit on a non-shooting foul becoming 2 free throws, but when you're up 24, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, Ennis might have tweaked his shoulder a little bit on that rip through. So, Utah's shot chart, a fascinating one. 12 of 20 in the restricted area, and they've made a mere 3 shots outside of the restricted area this entire time, yet to make a 3. I think, is that right? 0 for 7? I think that's right. Let's see if this
yeah, it is. It's 0 for 7 still.
Yeah, so, and then, how many turnovers do they have? They must just
They have 10.
Yeah, that's a lot of turnovers, and it's led to a lot of points. And most of those have been steals, too. Here's Neto, looks to get into Ennis. Embiid is finally back. He's gotten plenty of time on the bench, going right into Gobert, and forced to fade away by that 9-7 standing reach of Rudy Gobert. Gobert running the floor. They miss him, but that opens it up for the drive on Mitchell. Embiid trying to fall down, and instead Harris is called for a foul, hitting Gobert in the face. It'll be free throws for the Stifle Tower.
Well, and that's the other way to get a big man out of a play is to force him to commit to the driver, and that's what forced Tobias Harris to get in on the play and apparently hit Gobert in the face.
It was actually Embiid who, as he flailed and flopped, hit Gobert right in the face.
It'd be interesting. Let me check the play-by-play to see who they actually called that on. My play-by-play is a little bit late, so I don't know yet.
Yeah, it's got it.
It's Embiid. They called it correctly.
Yeah, good job.
And that's Embiid's first foul. So, and I mean, the Sixers have a propensity both this year and in the past to make blowouts close games again. So we would, even if we switch, want to keep an eye on it, but we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like every year the Jazz go through this where, maybe part of it's the hard schedule, but they had like a game last year where they just got beat by like 45 in Dallas. last night obviously was a complete blowout. This is turning into one as well as the pass goes awry to Embiid.
Neto thought that Embiid was going to run to the basket instead of posting up Conley, and that's what led to the miscommunication.
Yeah. So Utah trying to get it under that 20-point barrier. Here's the drive by Conley, right back to Gobert, and another foul. So that's they're going to try and get Mike Scott on this one. Mike Scott raising his hands. He wasn't even close. Mike Scott was 8 feet away from him.
That's being a good teammate right there.
Oh yeah, that's Mike. You might might want to be a little closer if you're going to try that.
Audience of one.
Only 5 steals, actually, for Philly. I guess they forced a couple of travels as well. Wow, Mike Scott is like really ready to box out here. And Gobert missing 2 straight free throws. That could have brought it under 20 points. Minute 45 left. Looking for Thibault and then Mike Scott. Simmons is out with the foul trouble. Harris is out right now. There's a nice play by Conley. Conley has had a few plays where he's blown up DHOs, but ultimately is called for the foul. He got a hand on it and also pulled Neto back, they're going to say. But no bonus yet for Philly. Yeah, this is a pretty limited lineup out here for Philly, aside from Embiid. Utah maybe can make some ground up here at the end of the half. Here's Neto, caught in the air, lobs a pass. That leaves Thibault's 3. Wow, what a ridiculous sequence that was, and Philly is back up 24.
Matisse Thybulle and Al Horford are combined 5 for 5 on threes so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when Matisse Thybulle shoots like this, he's pretty damn good. Now Thybulle knocking it away again. I mean, he is just... The number of deflections that he gets is just insane.
Yeah, it is. I looked at it a few weeks ago, and he was towards the top of the league, I believe, in deflections, despite playing far fewer minutes than any of the other guys.
He's been like on the fringes of the rotation the last 5 games or so. Mitchell, guarded by Thibault. Again, pick comes from Gobert with 5 on the clock. Walks into a 3. Good screen. Bad shot.
0 for 4 now on threes for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, the last couple have been pretty good looks.
Yeah,
too.
Agreed.
Embiid screening for Neto. Late switch. Conley cutting off Embiid. Tries to flop down. And they're going to give it to him.
And a nice job there by Conley of not trying to get, like, just picking a spot and just beating Embiid to that spot.
Yeah, and that's one where, surprising, and that's a clear offensive foul.
Especially because Embiid threw up his right hand. If he just stops, I think they're okay with it.
Yeah, so that's going to be a third personal.
Yeah, he had no fouls until like 2 minutes.
Yeah, all of them in like the last 3 minutes. Here's Conley, gets a screen, then a second, floats. Oh no, the pass was to Gobert. They wanted basket interference. Brett Brown was wondering what the hell went wrong. He's way out of the coach's box on the floor, but no call is made. He'll have to settle for a 22-point lead here. Sixers don't get the 2 for 1. Did they give him the tech? No, yeah. I think that was just a foul in the...
We'll see.
Oh, no, they did give him the tech. You're right. Yeah, he's got a point. That was in the cylinder.
Even if it was an intended pass, it was still over the cylinder.
I don't even know whether it was or not. Man, what a first half from Al Horford. 15 points on 6 shooting possessions, 2 blocks, 2 assists, 2 offensive rebounds.
And plus 19 as well.
Yeah, team best mark there.
Yeah, and he was a key part of that big stretch when Embiid was off the floor.
Horford, hands off. No, he fakes it to Thibault. Into the lane. Looking to get to that righty hook. Way short. Again, Gobert. Very difficult to post up.
Yeah, I thought he was looking for a cutter to just hit with a pass, but nobody was there.
Yeah, well, we can play him one-on-one. Those cuts aren't going to be as available. Mitchell will run it down, trying to cut it under at halftime, 20 points. Here's Mitchell on the drive. Long looping pass to Conley, who drains the catch-and-shoot 3. Now Sixers will look to inbound it deep into the front court. They can't do that. Neto's just going to have to pull a desperation shot, and it hits the heel of the rim. So a big 3 from Utah. They closed it up a little bit. I think they trailed by as many as 25, and it now sits at 18.
Yeah, and that was their first, Mike Conley's first attempt from three, and the team's first made three. They're 1 for 9 from long distance so far. They ended up, I talked about how they were getting worked on the free throw line as well. That actually became an advantage for the Jazz. They're now 7 of 12 from the line compared to 5 of 9 for the Sixers. Still getting worked in the possession game. They have 10 turnovers compared to the 8. And then, actually, they're not getting worked in the possession game. They're just getting worked in jump shooting. That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, that 11 of 19 from 3 for Philly is a pretty remarkable number. But a lot of attempts, too, though. And then the Jazz, 1 out of 9, finally got off the schneid with that Conley 3 right at the end of the half.
Well, should we talk? I think we should take a second. We'll process our thoughts on the half for a bit and talk about our friends at bookies.com. There are a lot of different pieces of information that you can use there, but one of the exciting ones is Mark Stroutman, who is an analyst specializing in something that you and I don't do, which is interpreting what is going on around the league and converting that into gambling advice. And that's a great thing that bookies.com has. You can check out his work there. And he used to he's covered the Bulls, not used to. He covered the Bulls and for NBC Sports Chicago, and then you can see that insight. And then also along with all the other information like the lines, if they're different at different legal outlets, I think that's another real strength there that you can check out.
Yeah, for sure. You can visit them as well to find the best deals available in your state. And also go to the website, bookies.com. You can even bookmark it if you're the type who does that thing. We have a lot of bookmarks, actually. I mean, I probably have like 150 bookmarks that I go to regularly.
I have a
for,
ton.
Like, NBA research.
I also have a ton related to this podcast.
And then you can follow @bookies on Twitter so you will not miss any of the latest sports betting odds and info. And also, what do people get from patreon.com/Duncan LaRue, which we want to remind you of, even though they are no longer on the banner?
You get subscriber-only content, including a mailbag podcast every month. We're going to do, actually, technically, the late November one will be in the next couple days. We had a travel issue for the previous month. And then we also do salary cap sheets, whatever else we can think of. We're working on a few interesting ideas for that. And early release podcasts, which can sometimes come out. We're doing a lot of all-decade stuff. If any of that is published well ahead of time or recorded well ahead of time, maybe we'll do a pre-release on that. So you can check that all out. Also a way of supporting us.
Would you rather start a team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Trae Young, or Ja Morant? I'll take my answer off the air because I'm going to go grab some tea.
I think there is a distinct chance that Ja Morant ends up being a better all-around player than Trae Young. However, Trae Young, I think, has a more established NBA track record of being the engine for an offensive team.
I mean, he's averaging 28 and 8 on like pretty good efficiency.
Exactly.
And they're 18 points per 100 better defensively and 15 points per 100 worse defensively.
And so, and really, like, Trae Young's most important job is generating reliably good shots for himself and others and converting the shots that he has to make. And he's done that. I mean, I think that, there are different levels to this, and, what Luka has done offensively has been more impressive than Trae. But I'm going to go with that. And while I really like Shai, and there are teams that I think are better served for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for example, if you already have a primary ball handler, an offensive linchpin, whatever term you want to use, Shai's ability to play off and on ball, be a secondary playmaker, is really valuable. And also he has much greater positional size and defensive potential. He's also obviously way better than Trae defensively right now. So I would probably go in most circumstances, and there are exceptions, as I just said, I would probably go Trae, Josh, Shai. But if you have that guy, if you have Harden, if you have Steph Curry, Kawhi, any of those teams, then I would look for Shai unless you think you can play Trae Young with that guy. And, Trae Young can be a catch-and-shoot player, but that's really the way I'd go. Somebody had a little thing about Simmons' defense being underrated. I would agree with that in the general conversation. Simmons is a wonderful defender. That was a part of my argument for him winning Rookie of the Year, which I didn't have a vote, but I steadfastly supported. And That is true. And being 6'10", you can play. He has more defensive versatility than more guys his height. I do think that's there. But the reason why people focus on Simmons' shooting foibles is because those are really important in terms of the long-term arc of the team. And yes, his defense is important. But for a player who has the ball in his hands as much as Simmons wants to, lacking a jump shot is a fundamental problem for the modern NBA unless you're Giannis, basically. And I mean, even LeBron, like, I have issues sometimes with his jump shooting, but he's a whole lot better than Simmons. And for Simmons, it's not only the percentages, and granted he is 1-for-1 this year, but it's the reluctance. And if you're not going to pull those shots, you can see how it bends the defense, how it gives them outs every single possession. We're seeing Royce O'Neal just sag off him. So it matters. It's material. And so it doesn't need to be one conversation on any player, but it is a definitive part of the Simmons conversation. So I have no problem with it being the centerpiece. Do you think the Lakers should trade for DJ Augustin so they have a pick and roll guard for AD? That's an interesting idea. I think that Augustin, he struggled so much to start this season for the Magic, and considering how well he played last year, I think the truth lies between the two. The challenge for the Lakers, and this is something I fixated on a little bit in mid-July, going back a little bit, is they don't have a lot of filler salary, because remember that a lot of the Lakers players have what are called implicit no-trade clauses, and what that means is basically, for KCP is the ultimate example here. KCP, there is a circumstance where he could get traded and lose his bird rights. So that would mean that the new team would not have the capacity that the Lakers do. And so, yeah, you could use KCP as filler salary, but he has to approve of the trade. And I don't think KCP would approve a trade to Orlando, even if maybe the playing time, I don't think it would be better, but I don't think he's going to do that. From Iguana Superbike, I also love that handle. Is Luka's improvement the main reason why the Mavs improved from 23rd on offense last year post-trade to best all-time to date this season? It's a big part of it. I mean, he has gotten better, taken a real step up. I mean, Nate had him as his MVP. I had him number 3, but it was splitting hairs between those 3 guys. And he's creating really good shots. I think personnel is also helping. Having Seth Curry back is useful. But I think, I think that Luka's improvement is a big part of it. Personnel is a big part of it. And hitting shots. And I haven't done my full analysis yet on like whether all that kind of stuff is repeatable. But I mean, there are a lot of different things. But Luka he is so central to their offense. And also, I mean, his own scoring efficiency has been an important improvement. And that's a part of their offense too, of course. Why does anybody attempt shots one-on-one against Rudy Gobert? Because sometimes if you get all the way there and you don't think you're going to get something better, I mean, you do every once in a while see somebody catch him, but not very often. Is it too early to say that Utah should have kept Rubio? Yes, absolutely. I think that it is. And also, I think that what Rubio is bringing for the Suns wasn't as valuable for the Jazz because of where they saw Donovan Mitchell's role. I think that Conley, the theory behind what he does is still going to be borne out. So yeah, I think it's way too early, but I am really happy that Rubio is doing as well as he has, and I'm thrilled for the Suns. I mean, as much as people like to levy certain accusations, I'm really happy when a team does well, when it defies my expectations or not.
And I left my microphone downstairs.
What is the main difference? That's probably more of a Nate question. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. So that one's on, what's the main difference from championship teams of the distant past to more recently? Okay. Somebody said, if you talk about the motivation behind your Patreon banner picture, I'll subscribe right now. Well, the motivation behind it was we were doing a photo shoot for the Bloomberg article that was written about us, and our photographer had the basically the input of like where I think there was a place near Nate's old place in Walnut Creek, and so we tried a bunch of different things, and it was a picture of both of us that involved basketball. So the motivation was a photographer told us to do it, so we did it. And I will say, being in doing a photo thing like that is one of the stranger experiences that I've had because A, I'm largely a control freak, and B, I'm not, and those of you who watch the show probably have a pretty good sense of this. I am not necessarily aware of all of the like visual elements that are in place all the time, and so having somebody who's watching that constantly and giving you input was really interesting. So it's like, oh, like facial mannerisms, or like hair and all that kind of stuff.
What are we talking about here?
The photo that is our background on Patreon.
Oh yeah, that was like, those photo shoots are so weird, man.
Well, you've done more than one.
There's never. No, I haven't.
Well, the Wired thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, and that looked just as ridiculous. My approach was just, any of those, you're just gonna look like a moron.
Yeah, and they're professionals. You just do whatever they tell you.
It's never gonna look good. So you might as well just lean into how stupid it looks, and that's why I thought that photo is just like so hilariously dumb, just like you and me passing a basketball back and forth to each other. I was like, why not just throw it out there?
Yeah, I liked it.
If we've got that one and like my '90s album cover.
Yeah, there was a really fun riff. Brent Berry got involved in it of song titles for that album. Well, it was like 2 years ago, something like that. From Warner West, would you rather have the Bucks roster or the Raptors roster over the next 5 years? Can you tell me where Giannis is? Because he is a definitive player. I would say. If you can't say where Giannis is going to be. I mean, the Raptors roster has more certainty.
I'd still probably rather have the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, basically, so for the Raps, the only guy, so Siakam's locked in. A lot of their other guys hit free agency really, really soon. And while they have bird rights, I don't know who they're going to retain. I do like their player development much more. But having Middleton and Brook Lopez and Eric Bledsoe, for better or for worse, I'd say they have a better overall roster, though the player development is a huge factor in favor of the Raps. What is Harry Giles' trade value, if any? I would say he actually has negative trade value because remember, this is the Austin Rivers rule. If let's say you're a team that likes Harry Giles and that thinks you can re-sign him, he is limited for that acquiring team to the amount of the declined option. Now, you can make a fair argument that he's not going to make more than that anyway because of the knee stuff or lower body stuff. Let's put it that way. So I
think knee sounds right.
Yeah, I can't remember if he has other like hamstring.
I don't recall it.
I just remember when he was in high school, people freaking out about everything with his legs. But so I would say it's probably maybe a little bit negative. And remember, he as a lower end draft pick, the declined option was pretty low. I think it's like $2.5 million. So if he does anything for you, then that becomes a challenge.
Yeah, and you're better off just waiting to sign him as a free agent this offseason.
And I don't think, unless you just really want to know physically before then, but then that's a pretty niche value. Somebody's asked you a couple times why people lie to themselves and say Jokic is a good defender.
Why? Well, that gets into very deep answers of psychology and fandom, but to say that he's good, do people say that he's good?
I think usually the way that I've heard it is that he's not as bad as people argue, and I think that is at least partially true.
Yeah,
but there is a big gulf between that and good.
Hey, Cat, you want to come up here?
Wow, we haven't had cats on the broadcast in a while.
Yeah, I've been gone for a while, so I think she's ready to come hang out a little bit. Hey, sweetie.
Oh, that's a good one. Playoff matchups you would most want to see any round.
Most want to see any round. I mean, Lakers Clippers.
Lakers Clippers is my number one.
Yeah. I mean, Bucks Lakers would be awesome.
Bucks Clippers.
I mean, Bucks Philly. I mean, really, none of these teams that are that good now have a history with each other. Particularly, I guess, like Bucks Sixers a little bit, but just due to some regular season last year.
Yeah, I need to get a better sense of some of the other teams in the West before I get sold on a specific matchup, people might remember me getting fixated on Pacers Raptors a few years ago because of the specifics of Paul George guarding DeRozan. Those sorts of elements. I mean, that's one why Mavericks Clippers would be really interesting because they have a lot of guys to throw at Luka, but we already kind of saw that be an ass
Yeah,
kicking.
I think.
So I
think
kind of don't
Clippers
want
would
that series.
Kill him, yeah. Yeah, I think like Luka versus LeBron would be pretty interesting. Like those.
Yeah,
two
well, and I
teams
mean, the
have
Mavs beat
pretty
them by
interesting.
14 yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping that I could go to that game. Oh, are we back? We're back.
We're back.
Hey. All right.
That seemed like a
And
short halftime.
6 is on my lap. This is a great start. Post up Ben Simmons here. He goes at O'Neal, and again, there's the fader by Simmons. That's why his post up numbers are so bad. You got to get a better shot than that. That's not a good shot. That's a 35% shot right there. There's a little deflection, and it'll stay with Philly, but a mere 3.9 to shoot. Yeah, we'll see if the Jazz can make it a game here early in the third quarter.
Well, and remember, they got worked in the non-Embiid minutes. I think that was at the start of the second.
It really is just
Middle of the
remarkable, some of the matchups. As here's Harris off the screen. Now Simmons on the drive. Goes at Gobert. Back out. Here's Harris for three. That was a nifty play. And Utah did stop it, but they got a wide open three. I guess they didn't stop it, but they just got lucky that he missed, frankly. That was real. Brett Brown runs some pretty intricate actions. It can break down sometimes if it doesn't look good at the end of the clock, but that one was fantastic execution. Here's Mitchell. Tries to swing it. Oh, man, Thibault. Again, he is starting this half, and he just took away that pass again. And now Bogdanovich just loses it against Harris, and the Euro foul is committed. They really got to get that rule in, man.
It's incredible to me that they haven't yet. I mean, especially because as an entertainment product, it helps nothing. People like dunks and fast breaks.
Yeah. So Thibault starting over Korkmaz this half. Here's Embiid off the screen from Simmons. Gobert not that great at getting through screens. That's the one thing that maybe he's not good at as a defensive player. But O'Neal failed to realize that Embiid had come open. Here's a drive from Conley. Back to Mitchell. Deep three-pointer from Donovan Mitchell is cashed out. Donovan Mitchell, he has the type of form, kind of like Gilbert Arenas. I've always likened his shooting form to Gilbert Arenas' shooting form, where he can just shoot it from way out with no breakdown in his form. Same play again for Philly, and beat into the lane. That time, the reaction from O'Neal, but again, a little bit too late. He let him get all the way to the dotted line and hook it in. Let's see if they run that play again next time. Mitchell, hounded by Thibault, into the lane, jump stop, floater, in and out. 19-point game. Harris to Embiid. Now he wants to post up against Conley. Help comes from O'Neal. Now they back off. Simmons lurking in the dunker spot. Bogdanovich is there. That leaves Horford in the corner. Good close from O'Neal. Into Harris now against the smaller Conley. And they take it away. Harris can't believe it. 4-on-4. Now Bogdanovich steps in, and Harris, his complaining to the ref just cost his team 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, that's what led to multiple openings on it because they could just pass it to the nearest guy and get a 5-on-4.
It's 4-on-4. Bogdanovich and Harris are right next to each other. Harris stops to complain to the ref. Bogdanovich just jogs up and gets a wide open three. And now, again, we've got Simmons screening for Embiid. And Gobert, went right into Simmons. And I mean, that's one where I'm not sure what you said there. Yeah, I mean, that Harris just he took his headband off to argue off that replay. Now here's Simmons again, facing up, baseline. Oh, beautiful move. And Gobert did not help in time. He was up at the free throw line.
And a great example of Simmons' size and handle. I mean, that's crazy for a 6'10" guy.
Here's Mitchell, another difficult floater, and he's going to get called
for the forearm.
Yeah. Loving the number of off-arm calls that have been made in this game. That's been something the league really needed to clean up.
Whew. Quick update, Bucks 21, Knicks 8. Good thing we didn't flip over.
Harris, Mitchell on his back, got to Embiid. Embiid pump faking, tries to go through the arm of Gobert, and he does in fact get the call.
Are they calling that a rip through? Because that was close enough to the basket that they could have called that a gather.
Yeah. No, that's what they're gonna say. It's a non-shooting foul.
I don't love that.
I'm fine with it. It's like obvious call-seeking behavior. Don't reward him. But yeah, I agree with you. Technically, I can see where there would be an argument for that. Here's Simmons faking, throws it up, and Embiid will keep it right here as he forces the loose ball foul.
Yeah, it's rare to see a circumstance where you benefit, and of course, of all teams, it's the Sixers, from a ball bouncing around on the rim a couple extra times, but Embiid got in that position.
Uh-oh, we may have lost the cat here. She's on alert. A door opened. Now she's in sentinel mode. So 18-point game here. Jeff Green has come on. He replaces O'Neal, who picked up the foul there. They're trying to inbound to Horford. Now the post up against Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is a pretty strong guy. Entry pass goes awry. Horford recovers, getting into that right-handed hook across the lane. That's way off. Good defense by the Jazz. Looking to cut into the 18-point advantage, same as it was at halftime. Nice in and out from Conley. Nash is along the baseline. Nothing there. Jeff Green wasn't really in a position to shoot. Gobert facing up on Embiid. That's not his game to face up. They're looking to get it back. I mean, this is just great defense.
Thibault again.
Yep, the tip away. Now Embiid leading the break. Gets it to Simmons. Out to Thibault. Quick three. Oh, yeah. Matisse Thibault. We are seeing the full repertoire from Thibault tonight. He has been outstanding.
Yeah, he's now, I mean, the basics you look at, 9 points, 3 of 3 from 3, but also 1 steal. I think that might be 2 now. My box score might be late. And a couple of assists and just, deflections, defensive monster. And yeah, he committed 1 foul and was close to a couple more, but this is the theory of Matisse Thybulle. Whew.
Why do shooting guards tend to have the worst PERs? A few reasons. They have the smallest box score contributions generally. I mean, it is probably the weakest overall position. And then what shooting guards do, that's probably your best overall three-point shooting position. But the spacing that they add is something that isn't captured by PER. They're not going to get as many assists as a point guard. They're not going to get as many rebounds or...
Yeah, Klay Thompson is a great example of that.
Yeah, I think that's right. Klay Thompson has never had a great PER. And also, shooting guards probably... Either shooting guards or small forwards probably have the worst... No, I don't know if that's true, actually. I shouldn't say that they have the worst effective field goal shooting.
Do you think Michael Porter will be in play for trades, or Denver think his ceiling is too high? I would be very surprised if Porter was in trades this early. They drafted him with the knowledge that he was going to be out for a full year, basically, or the expectation that he could be. And, that's why Porter fell as far as he did in the draft. And I think they're playing the long game here. So if they trade him, I think that would be a, get out of Dodge before his value tanks type of move. And I don't see the Nuggets doing that. He's not Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah. What rule do they have overseas that lets the refs easily distinguish between a Euro foul and a legitimate play on the ball foul?
I believe it's an intent call there. It's if you foul to stop a fast break. If it's a foul to stop a fast break, it counts. That's as I
it's called an unsportsmanlike is what they call it in FIBA. But yeah, it works great. They don't do it anymore. I love it. I certainly, you know what? Maybe every once in a while, an innocent man may be found guilty on those transition take fouls, but so what, man? Don't foul on a fast break. It needs to be gotten out of the game. And if 1 out of every 15 times a questionable call is made, you're not still keeping 14 fast breaks in the game.
Somebody asked, which of the bottom 5 teams would we be most interested in general managing? I'm assuming that's the Knicks, Hornets, Cavs, Hawks, and Warriors?
I mean, I think you just kind of probably Hawks at this point.
Yeah, I think that would be the most interesting job. They have a ton of financial flexibility, and they have a building block in Trey. And maybe John Collins, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd go with them.
Conley, they go under on him, a missed three-pointer off the dribble. Jazz have not been able to make that shot. 21-point lead for Philly. Horford directing Thibault, who didn't know where to go. Now they try to post up Horford, and Mitchell is called for the foul. The play design there with Mitchell guarding Thibault. I mean, they really just got caught, it looked like, with either Conley or Mitchell on Horford.
Quick score update. Phoenix 68, Charlotte 57, so they're coming back. Hawks 44, Warriors 38. Pacers 23, Grizzlies 16. Bucks 24, Knicks 15. Coming back.
Yeah, so Horford already shooting free throws. This is 7:37 left in the quarter, and Utah has fouled their way into the bonus already. And it's a 23-point advantage. Really tough to make a comeback when you get in the bonus early. You can't be as aggressive going for steals and getting turnovers. That can drive a comeback. Oh, there's Thibault again. How does he do it? These NBA players, these guys are usually just so sure with the ball, and he just takes it away from him. He's just always in an unexpected place. Wow, that was just an emphatic rejection from Gobert. Here's Green right down for the lay-in. Great run of the floor from Jeff Green, and that is certainly Embiid has gotten less than nothing on these post-ups of Gobert, but they've shot it so well from three and defended so well it hasn't mattered. Again, you see Green backing way off of Simmons. Gobert denying the catch at the elbow. They get it to Harris. Harris pulls up from mid-range. Tough miss. Nice rundown by Simmons of the rebound. Backdoor. Harris for the dunk. Beautifully done.
That was a great read.
Yeah, Simmons is just such a good passer on those cuts. I mean, it's really such a shame, Danny, that Simmons just isn't more of a threat with the ball in the half court, because then we really see his passing. Now, Simmons gets beat backdoor easily, but again, Conley blows the open jumper.
That's 4 on Embiid.
Yeah, this is normally when he'd go out anyway. So excited that the cat is here.
Yeah.
Right now.
A staple of the early NBA cast.
Yeah.
Well, not the earliest, but.
Yeah, back at my old house. Here's Conley into the lane, shut down by Horford. Bogdanovich, quick release on a three. That is the third time Boyan Bogdanovich has failed to draw rim on a three-pointer in this game. And then here's Ennis, and that's going to stay here. More free throws are coming here for Ben Simmons as he got inside position on Jeff Green in the transition three.
And so far, the offensive rebounding margin is in favor of the Sixers, 5-3, but that does not include something like that, which that doesn't even count as a team rebound, does it? It's just
what, that one?
Yeah.
No, that is a team rebound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Simmons, of course, a poor free throw shooter. Part of the reason, perhaps, for the lack of physicality. Now we're going to stay here now. Horford kept it alive. Gobert can't believe it. Challenge! Challenge! Although it looked to me like it was off Gobert, frankly. Yeah, Gobert got fouled, but
yeah,
it was, in fact, off of him. But, yeah, they missed the call on that play. Horford just going to go one-on-one against Embiid. Nice help from Ingles to the nail. Horford goes to the step back. That was a weird possession.
They've challenged Gobert way too much in this third quarter.
I don't know why they decided to go with that. Ingles finds Gobert right down the lane. Yet another foul, that time on Horford. Yeah, and Harris, you'd like to see a better defensive effort there. Ingles just goes by him, and Gobert didn't even have to make contact on the screen. When you don't have to make contact on the screen, then you can get an early roll down the lane, and it basically becomes a 2-on-1 against that big, and Horford no choice but to foul. Another missed free throw from Gobert. He struggled.
2 of 7. And Ed Davis is at the table, but presumably he's not going to come in until the next stoppage. Unless they're going to go with Davis and Gobert, bring back the old favor stuff. I doubt it.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think the thinking here is that with Embiid out of the game and likely to come back in towards the end of this quarter, that they want to match up Gobert and Embiid.
And I agree with that.
22-point advantage. Harris against Ingles off the Horford screen. Hesitation. Horford is out there, but a nice deflection by the Jazz to take away what could have been an open three. So here is the aforementioned Davis. Oh, they go for that alley-oop from out of bounds to Ennis. The pass was on target. They wanted a foul, but are they going to give it to him?
I mean, Davis
no,
hit
they're
him
just
in
going
the
to stay
air.
out of bounds.
Davis hit him in the air. I think I would have called that.
Yeah, Ennis can't believe it.
As my Twitter followers know, I'm very much against guys getting hit while they're in the air.
Sixers will run that every now and again. I think it might just be like an uncalled option between those two guys. As Mitchell, again, Thibault just swallows him up. Horford in transition for three, rebounded by Davis. Joe Ingles, who I think he's taken one shot attempt, and that was that layup that got blocked. Here's Mitchell going at Harris, and he'll go to the foul line. There's that old style of Quinn Snyder. The first time we've really seen that, the pass to the wing, and he starts the drive before he even catches the ball.
Yeah, and Mitchell's having a challenging night. 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. These will be his 5th and 6th free throws. And part of it is that he hasn't created enough separation. I mean, he's had a couple of clean shots, but the rest of it, not quite getting all the way to the basket, getting these challenging looks on. Remember how long this Philadelphia team is.
Yeah, he had a couple of plays towards the end of the half where he got to the basket and that one, but it's been a lot of the mid-range for him. Again, I mean, this is a great Philadelphia defense.
Absolutely.
Like, let's not forget about that. Mitchell, of course, number 13 pick out of Louisville in that 2017 draft. Pick was originally the property of the Nuggets. It was traded for Trey Lyles and number 24, which became Tyler Lydon. There was a thought that the Nuggets wanted OG Anunoby, who got taken just before him. Here's Mitchell. Throws it off the foot of Simmons. No call on the kick, which is good. Oh, what a nice drop back, and Harris is fouled.
And now the turnover margin is more pronounced. 16 for the Jazz, just 9 for the Sixers. And then the points off turnovers is even more striking. The Jazz only have 6 points off of the 9 turnovers, and then the Sixers have 17.
That actually should have been a kick ball on Simmons. One of the rare ones where it actually, there was some intentionality to the foot movement.
Yeah,
and they didn't call it. Usually it's the random ones where he wasn't even trying.
And that's why I don't think there are some people who interpret it as the foot in the air. His foot was not in the air, but his foot was extended over for that reason. To me, that's a kick. This hasn't, to me, been the most inspiring Tobias Harris game, but they haven't needed that from him because Thibault and Horford and some of these other guys are hitting shots. I mean, James Ennis has had a surprising shooting game.
Yeah, I think, in fairness, now he is getting a maximum contract as there's a nice pick and pop action for Bogdanovich, who's way off again. Wow, he's not even close on these. First look at Emmanuel Mudiay as Dante Exum got the minutes over him early, and immediately Harris just goes right through Mudiay in transition. Ingles off the Davis screen. Gets into the lane, and finally a finish from Joe Ingles. And we'll get a timeout here and a chance to tell you once more about our wonderful sponsors, bookies.com.
We are not the most adept people at converting our knowledge.
You didn't want to just stop right there?
No, I mean, I could have, but
We are
then
not
it
the
wouldn't be a
most
good
adept
sales.
people.
It wouldn't be a good sales pitch for bookies.com. At interpreting what we know about the NBA and putting it into gambling terms, and that's why bookies.com is a great resource, because they have people who not only do that generally, who also do that for our work, that interpret the things that we say. Like I did a riff on an NBA cast about the Clippers title odds versus the Lakers title odds, having no idea that their title odds were about the same. And so they know how to interpret that, and they have, of course, great people like Mark Stratman that can do that do that as a part of their career, as part of their living. Stratman's doing extremely well, and so you can get the information to make better bets, which is something that I really like.
Yeah, Mark Stratman, I got the stats in front of me now here.
Nice.
20-15 in his last 35 over-unders, and 26-14, 65% in his last 40 picks against the spread. It's not bad.
I'm pretty sure that's significantly better than I would do. Significantly. Because people ask me that all the time, and I'm like, yeah, no. And also just having the ability to compare lines that are over a dozen legal US-based sports books is a great resource. So if you think Team X is going to beat Team Y, well, maybe the line is 9 one place and it's 7 another place. That's a huge potential swing. That could be dollars in your pocket. So not only can you bookmark and check out bookies.com, and since these things live update, it's a great reason to have a bookmark, but also follow them at Bookies, BOOKIES, and you can check that out, including that's a way of seeing the pieces that they're interpreting are that they're involving our material. It's a great way to do it as well.
All right, let's see here. Is this the year people finally realize that Westbrook isn't an all-star? Well, I think he finally realized there's been 1 year, I think, when he made it and he shouldn't have, which is last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little rough.
If memory serves, he was fringy the year before, but I could just be a year.
No. He was
really good.
Like the impact metrics, he still
Okay.
really deserved to be in there the year before.
Last year just felt so long. It was 2. That's an interesting one from Jose Caldercat. Could or should the Raptors look to upgrade using Ibaka and Gasol's contracts given the emergence of guys like Boucher? I think they should consider it, but the problem that the Raptors are dealing with is, are they willing to take on money beyond this year? And if they're, or beyond, let's say 2021. If not, then it gets hard.
Korkmaz is back in his first action of the half. Good job by Ingles making his catch difficult, but he floats and scores anyway. 24-point game. Again, we're getting pretty close to done here, I think. Is there anything else that we could switch to that's close at all, Danny?
Phoenix Charlotte is an 8-point game with at basically late in the third.
There's Joe Ingles keeping our attention here for one more moment. Off the dribble, Joe finally hitting that above the break off the dribble 3-pointer. Mike Scott off a screen from Horford gets it right back. Bogdanovich could not get through the Horford screen. Horford is low-key one of the dirtiest / best screeners in the NBA. There's Emmanuel Mudiay, that mid-range jumper on which he seems to have staked his career. Horford looking to screen Korkmaz out of the corner, goes back door. Now he comes off it, but instead Simmons goes to the near side with Ennis. Disjointed possession here. Mike Scott looking to attack off the dribble, steps back on Bogdanovich, and that was a terrible possession. Mudiay going into Korkmaz. I think if he shot it there, he might have got the call. Instead, it's Bogdanovich. Jeff Green misses a wide open Ed Davis for a dunk underneath and takes a 3 instead that goes off.
I thought you were pre-calling the missed 3 because it was veering wide.
Simmons. Oh, what a smitty.
That was
Boyan
gorgeous.
Bogdanovich has got to stop and pick up his jockstrap from the dotted line before he runs back. And this is going to be a timeout for the Jazz here. Yeah, it looks like it. 24-point game. So yeah, what do we got out here? We got that Charlotte
Phoenix,
game.
Charlotte is a 9-point game at the end of the third.
Yeah, Golden State Atlanta is at halftime. Somehow Golden State only has 40 points against Atlanta's somewhat terrible defense. Golden State has 7 3-point attempts in the first half. That is
Golden State has an 85 offensive rating against the Hawks.
I mean, it's incredible how few 3-pointers this team gets up at this point in time. Amari Spellman revenge game, not happening. 2 of 7, negative 18 so far.
So it's 78-71 now with 28 seconds to go in the third. I'm fine calling it. I mean, we're doing a full dunked on tonight. Either way.
Yeah.
It's more work for you. So have you...
Well, let's see what happens. We'll stick around here for...
Finish out the quarter.
For this quarter. If it somehow gets a little closer, maybe we'll stick around.
Bucks are now up 39-21 on the Knicks. I mean, look at Giannis's plus minus. I feel like that's going to be a... No, he's plus 9. He's actually has a weaker plus minus than the rest of the starters.
Did you do this one? What kind of success do the Mavs have to have in order for Luka to garner serious MVP consideration over Giannis or Harden?
That's a good question.
I mean, for me, I picked him as my MVP for the first month or so of the season. Although I'm not sure I will. That'll be my pick at the end of the year. But I mean, I think that the Mavs have got to get to probably 52, 53 wins.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'd say if they're a top 6 seed and they have the number 1 or number 2 offense.
Yeah.
And the number 1 offense part would be a huge arrow in his quiver.
So George Niang is in. He runs a pick and roll, drives in, and scores. George Niang, guarded by Mike Scott. Probably the best pick and roll matchup the Jazz have had all night. Korkmaz curling into the lane against Gobert.
Why do they keep trying to finish on...
see, now Gobert, he can't believe it, and he's right, because Korkmaz, it looks to me, he uses his off arm here. Let's watch the left arm of Korkmaz. Yeah, there's no contact there that I can see. Oh no, he got him. He got him with the body. I'll take it back. That overhead view tells all. Gobert can't believe it, and it was interesting to me, Danny, that the official directly in our line of sight is the one who called that. Oh, okay.
Because
it must have been something with Embiid getting held underneath.
Yeah. This is the downside of not having audio.
Yeah. Well, usually we can tell. That one, I was so focused because it looked like could have been a foul called on Gobert.
It didn't help that the TV broadcast focused on that too. The replays.
Yeah. George Niang pushing it again. Run around another pick and roll with Niang. Gobert, nice top side by Korkmaz. The Korkmaz-Ingles matchup has been strangely fascinating tonight. Ingles snaking it, wants to always get back to that left hand. Moutier, mid-ranger, goes into the body of Neto, no call. Fadeaway jumper is off.
Well, it's not an off arm shove if you use your shoulder like Moutier did there.
Yeah. Now, again, another disjointed Philly possession. Now they get it into Neto's hands. Gnashing along the baseline. Korkmaz can't elude Ingles. Now jacks up the 3. And really, these are two rather challenged offensive units. Without Embiid to go to in this post, this group for Philly really has no fulcrum. There's Niang again, abusing Mike Scott. George Niang, sworn Twitter enemy of Nate Duncan.
That was fun.
Or, I guess I am a sworn enemy of his, I guess, would probably be more accurate.
Yeah.
I'm sure he doesn't even remember tweeting at me. Oh, nice dive on the floor from Moutier, but it just goes right back to the Sixers. Neto, hesitation, blow by and Gobert, but Gobert got him anyway. That's just incredible. Like, Gobert was beaten dead to rights, and he still recovers against Neto. Now they get it into Gobert. Nice touch pass out to O'Neal, and another missed three-pointer for Utah.
Yeah, the Jazz, I had the number just now. They are... God damn it.
Wait, can I guess what they are from 3? 4 out of 21.
17, but close.
4 out of 17, yeah. Here's Embiid. Free throw line jumper is off. Starting to see some bricks.
Yeah, I had the Knicks shooting numbers up, and it was a Jazz-esque number. I think it was 4 of 16.
Here's Gobert down the lane. Lefty layup is good.
It's under 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a good time. We can hang out a little bit here.
Or do you want do a little bit of Phoenix Charlotte?
What's the score?
Phoenix is up 7 with 11:34 to go.
All right, what's the vote, guys? Phoenix Charlotte or stay here?
I don't know what the league pass availability versus the NBA TV availability is.
Oh, Mike Conley is out for the game. I don't know. I haven't been following as much on Twitter as I normally do. Let's see what his injury was. Left hamstring tightness.
Uh-oh.
Return. That's not good.
We have 2 stays and a go so far, but that's short. Oh, now it's 2-2. This is why you need to have your voices heard. We're reading everything.
For what?
For which game to do.
Stay, switch. So we got 2 stays, 2 switches. Come on, Phoenix, Charlotte. You know you guys want it. Phoenix, whore.
That counts.
Okay, yeah, well, that's it. We're just going to watch only Phoenix. Stay. Are you guys just trolling us now to try and make it? Is there like a separate group chat where you're just trying to make it as close to 50% as possible? Sixers will let them back in. I think with Conley out, it's going to be pretty tough. Phoenix, Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte. That's switch. Okay.
I think we got movement that direction.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
We can always switch back.
Oh, well.
Can. Well.
Yeah. Can. Exactly. All right, let's see. What channel do you think it is? Starts at 7:50.
That's
I think it's gonna be 7. I think it's gonna be 7:50. Oh yeah.
We were both right. But we're probably gonna watch on 51.
Yeah. All right, we get another sworn Twitter enemy of Nate's, Eddie Johnson.
I'll move the camera.
It should be pretty close there since it's Fox.
Yeah, it's true. It is weird how Nate and I have like these encyclopedic memories of which broadcast partner each one is. So it's like the graphics and all that stuff.
I mean, there's only 30 of them. It doesn't take that much, right?
I mean, especially with our reps.
What's it like when an NBA player tweets at you like Niang did? Do you feel bad at all? I would feel bad if I got something wrong. Like just factually incorrect.
Yeah. It's only ever happened to me once, and the player deleted it as I was figuring out how I was going to respond. That was interesting.
So I mean, I don't think I did respond. Maybe I did. I can't even remember what I did. But yeah. For those who don't know the story, Niang, after it was actually on a podcast, I didn't even like tweet because my view is like I will
never add a player.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like there's a lot of journalists who go out of their way to make sure that they at the player and hope that the player sees that they're tweeting about him. I don't want to do that. I don't think it helps players to see what I am tweeting about them. I don't want them to see what I'm tweeting about them. I think my analysis is more objective if I don't ever consider what a player might think about what I am tweeting about them. But in that situation, I mean, what I said basically was like the Jazz would need to get some more at power forward because all they had was Niang, and then they immediately and it got back to Niang, I guess, or I don't think he actually listens to the show, but
if he does, welcome.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, for me, the standpoint is I have the confidence in my opinions that I would say it to somebody's face if it's how I feel, and that's why I don't do hot takes that I don't believe in, because then you have to defend it. I mean, I think this goes back to us being lawyers too. Is the idea that if you're going to make a case, you have to know how to argue it. And so, yeah, I mean, it would be awkward, but I'd do it.
All right, let's get the camera ready here as soon as they show it. But anyway, so I happened to be right in that case that they weren't going to go into the season with George Niang as their starting power forward.
Well, I jumped that gun really, really aggressively. There we go. I don't think I can get the whole thing, but I can get.
You can zoom out a little bit. That might be too far zoomed out, though.
No, that was not helpful. There we go. I think that'll be good. Yeah. Devontae Graham actually just did a bunch of Devontae Graham digging for the 15 and 60. That is going to be That was going to be coming up because I was really interested in how his season has gone so far.
Yeah, so we got a game here. You'll have to forgive us if we don't know what's going on in this game, really. Here's Rubio finding Kaminsky for the layup. And Frank Kaminsky. Revenge game for Frank Kaminsky, by the way. 82-77. Phoenix with the lead. This is Malik Monk. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Is that Graham? It's hard to see with these uniforms. No, yeah, that is Graham. Here's Zeller going right at Kaminsky, and he would know that Frank Kaminsky has the resistance of a piece of tissue paper, and he goes right through him for the and one, a chance to bring the Hornets within 2.
And Cody Zeller coming off the bench in this game. He's played 17 minutes. They started Bismack Biyombo, who has played an identical 17 minutes, and it's a little bit interesting to me in a game that Kaminsky started center that they wouldn't go with Zeller. I guess I'm interested in what.
So no Aaron Baines. Are they just resting him on the back-to-back, or did he actually suffer a recurrence of that hip flexor injury?
I haven't seen anything yet. I'll keep an eye out.
So it's Carter and Rubio together in the backcourt with Cam Johnson and Bridges up front along with Kaminsky. For Charlotte, the deposed Dwayne Bacon, who has had an atrocious shooting start to the year. He's been supplanted by Devontae Graham in that starting lineup. Now Johnson is out. Oubre is in. I think they do need a little bit more of an impetus offensively with this unit. Now Rubio, backdoor, Bridges, beautiful, and he beat Marvin Williams. Marvin Williams was getting ready to step out in the pick and roll, and Bridges went right back door. Rubio found him beautifully. Here's Graham, gets his man in the air. This Graham-Carter matchup, guys went 32 and 34 in the draft as Graham gets by him. I think we're going to see a little bit different quality of help defense in this game, Danny, than we did in the Utah-Phoenix game. Here's Rubio. Bounces it off the back rim. Rebound Zeller. Dwayne Bacon looking to attack Rubio into the lane, and Zeller squeezed off Kaminsky nicely. Phoenix, very little resistance at the rim with this group. Tie game. Hornets all the way back. I think that Phoenix led by maybe even as many as 20. It looks like Booker is going to return for Phoenix.
And again, this is interpreting box score stuff that we didn't see. Generally speaking, the Hornets starters have a negative plus-minus and their bench have positive. Not exactly a huge surprise considering Charlotte has had guys like Zeller and Marvin coming off the bench. But that doesn't necessarily bode well for them considering both teams usually close with their starters.
Yeah, so big trouble here. Aaron Baines, calf strain.
Oh, no.
Out again after just coming back from that hip issue where they really struggled without him. Here's Bridges. As Biyombo gets out on him, Bridges blows by him, but Biyombo forced the miss nonetheless. Rebound Saric, though, swing it around. Booker, corner, Bridges, his drive goes in. Nice rim protection from Marvin Williams. Such an underrated rim protector. Now it's Williams right down the lane, and he can't get the layup. Again, a little different quality of teams here than we saw earlier on.
I'm enjoying it.
Biyombo screening for Graham. Blows past Saric. Rubio flopped for the charge, and that left the offensive glass open, and Bacon cleans up Hornets with their first lead in some time. Devin Booker is back. He's guarded by Bacon. Bacon does have the size to match up with Booker. Screen roll with Saric. Switch out Biyombo, having him get back on Saric. That leaves Bridges wide open. Good pass, but Bridges could not hit. Bridges has not been able to finish a couple of nice looks here. Malik Monk with his first touch in a while. I think this is going to go up, Danny.
No, he's going up.
No, he finds Williams. Good rotation from Saric, but Williams finishes anyway. And yet another foul on Phoenix. I don't see who it was that got him on that.
I think they're going to call it on charge. 15-4 start to the fourth quarter for the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, yeah. He got his arm
late
in there just a little bit. That's pretty close. I don't know if I would have called that one, but this is fun. I love doing these. I just always worry that the barrier to entry is too high for you guys. I love switching around to all these random teams that you would never be calling a game for.
I like somebody just writing Terry Rozier with a bunch of cap marks. That's fun. Paul Murphy asks, "Are you friends with any players?" I am not. I deliberately, when reasonably possible, I
Yeah.
avoid that kind of thing because I
No,
think that
I've seen his phone. Players are texting him wanting to hang out all the time, and he just is like, "No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, ethically, I just
no,
can't."
you can't.
There's a
But I mean, and I admit that my line is different than other media members by all means. Also, we don't do any source reporting, so like there would be a benefit for that. But for me, and it's true with front offices too. I feel like it affects my objectivity, so I just I don't necessarily like ruthlessly avoid it, but I don't really prefer it. And every once in a while, I mean, we're analysts. Like we're not supposed to. It's just the same as like film critics, if they're too cozy with the people whose films they're doing, I imagine that would be hard.
Yeah, I've like Aaron Jackson. I don't know that I would consider us like friends the way I would consider like you and me friends, but we'll hang out on occasion if he's in town or he'll come on the show or whatever. Like that's probably. And Aaron only had a cup of coffee in the league too. So and there's been a few times where I've had conversations with players outside of the arena, but no, I wouldn't say like that. I would still consider it a professional relationship.
Somebody asked, what do the Hornets do about the Graham Rozier situation moving forward? Can they have both? Yeah, I think they can.
Well, when Devontae Graham makes the minimum, sure.
Yeah, you can, and especially because who also the Hornets could be spending money on. There isn't really a rubber meeting the road situation. Now, if Graham consistently outplays Rozier and Rozier doesn't want to be there because he gets... Right now, they're starting both of them. But if they get to that sort of a situation, like, let's say Charlotte has a good enough other guard that they can do it, well, then maybe you get into a different situation. But Rozier, I believe it's a 3-year contract. And yeah, I hate that contract, but it's not that onerous. So yeah, I think both of them are on the team.
And Rozier's actually been better than expected this
Agreed,
year.
absolutely.
Like he's 55% true shooting. He's shooting like 50% from 2.
Yeah, and I harp all the time on 48 good minutes at the point guard position. And while I think Rozier is overrated and overpaid, he can contribute.
And I mean, he's shooting the ball well, and he can defend at that position. He can defend twos even. He's a tough guy. He works fine in the backcourt.
By the way, I'm a little bit mad that Devontae Graham is 1 for 8 from 3 because I have all these stats about his 3-point shooting, and now I'm going to have to rework.
But, I mean, he's been a ridiculous shooter so far this year.
Yeah.
Rubio, good denial by Bacon on Booker. Now they try to get it back into Rubio's hands with 7 on the clock. Pick and roll. Biombo steps out. Oh, backdoor by Bridges, but Biombo erases it. Right to Sharch, though, and Marvin Williams again. He's gotten backdoored twice now by Bridges. Marvin Williams, usually a reliable vet. You don't see him make those kind of mistakes. But Bridges, a second-year guy, has gotten him.
They're letting a lot of contact go, too, around the paint.
Here's Williams off a screen, and that looked like Boyan Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich, I was going to say the same thing.
Booker, we haven't seen him really do much yet. Now he goes into a spin move, good footwork, but then got caught in the air. Oh, Williams stepped out of bounds underneath the basket. They didn't see him. Here's Bacon rolling in, and I thought he got fouled by Booker. No call. Now Bridges looking to push it. Back out to Rubio. That leaves Oubre open for the 3. Bridges keeping it alive. Now it's Booker. Floats from the dotted line and scores. Phoenix outworking Charlotte of late.
And both these teams are having disastrous nights from 3. 5 of 22, so that's about 23-24% for the Hornets. 7 of 35, which is an even 20% for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, and Booker is 3 of 8. So that leaves 4 out of 27 for the rest of the Suns from downtown. Catch up on the stats here. Booker leading all scorers with 19. Marvin Williams leads Charlotte with 16 points.
And one of the other huge dynamics in this game is the rebound margin. So right now, Charlotte has a 33% offensive rebound rate and an 81% defensive rebound rate. So they're dominating that form of the game. But the turnover margin, 18 for Charlotte, 7 for Phoenix. So then that cuts the other way. Free throws a little bit in Phoenix's favor, though they missed a bunch. So yeah, a little bit of sloppiness.
Booker's season has been really interesting. His usage is way down from last year, but he's got 19 points, and he's done it on 14 shooting possessions tonight. He does have 5 turnovers, but his efficiency is crazy right now. it's really interesting to me that that's how they're using him, that he hasn't been used the way he was last year. He probably has about the biggest usage decline of anyone in the league, I would bet you.
Yeah, I wish. By the way, I wish there was an easy way to search that. I'm sure somebody with an Excel could do it.
Schumann will post on that every now and again. By the way, 70-43 is the score of Milwaukee, New York.
We made a good decision.
Yeah. All right, we're back here. 1 point Hornets advantage. Graham, good defense by Rubio. Swing it to Bacon. Going at Bridges down the lane. Stripped. Mikal Bridges. Excellent hands. We got the Bridges versus Bridges matchups, picks number 10 and 12 in that 2018 draft. Here's Bridges backdoor blocked from behind by Oubre and a late call made to send Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges, yeah. Mikal is the other one.
Yeah. So Miles Bridges, been a little bit of a disappointment as a defender. Moving his feet laterally, that's something that Spencer Percy, the Hornets expert on Dunked On, said that he really has not been effective as a one-on-one defender, which is what you'd hope he could do with his physical tools. And he, like many in this game, struggling.
Yeah. 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, and now has missed both of his free throws.
Hornets are in the bonus. Again, they've got Bacon guarding Booker. Oubre going into Rozier, and the foul is committed. Nice curl play. Again, I really like the aspects of this Phoenix offense that just get guys the ball at the charge circle right at the basket. They've done an excellent job with that this season. That time, Biyombo helped on the curl initially and then ended up actually getting in the way of Rozier, who was guarding Oubre, and he had no choice but to foul.
So a little bit further on the turnover disparity, Phoenix has 12 steals of the 18 turnovers. They are credited with 20 points off turnovers. We don't know exactly where those lines are, but that's been a huge part of their offense. I was going to pull up the clean the glass splits, actually. See if they have it up.
Do you guys agree that Booker has been way too passive? No, I don't think so. I mean, they've played much better. And I think it is curious. They may need him to take on a larger load at some point, but it's also actually left him some energy to be competent defensively now. Graham getting the handoff from Biyombo. Now Rozier, no action whatsoever so far. Graham, long 2 over Sharge is off. Oh, Biyombo on the offensive glass.
Oh.
It's fouled, and then he cracks Oubre in the face and immediately goes to pick him up. Yeah, Biyombo had no idea he was there.
So the stat I was mentioning, I wanted to look up clean the glass. My theory was right. Phoenix and Charlotte have been almost identically, let's call it inefficient, as half-court offenses, both at 0.88 points per possession. But Phoenix is playing 7% less of their possessions in the half-court because of all those steals. So that's been a big part of it, but then the free throws and everything else.
So Biyombo, not known for his foul line accuracy. You'll recall it was a 4-year, $72 million deal that lured him from Toronto to Orlando, then was traded for Timofey Mozgov, and I think Orlando won that trade simply because Mozgov, as there's another back door, again, Booker is going to draw the foul on Bacon, simply because Mozgov just got eliminated from their books with a long-term injury exclusion.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And getting that off, we talked about that a little bit on Dunked On last night, but the idea that it opens things up a little bit for them.
Booker giving the Suns back their lead. And Ricky Rubio, I mean, that is the third backdoor that he's thrown just since we started watching. The Suns might have been the worst passing team in the NBA last year. He does fix that. Here's Williams left wide open for three in the pick and pop. Bridges had to help on the dive from Biyombo, and that left Williams wide open. Pretty simple action there to get that wide open. Now Booker switched onto by Graham. Double teamed at the point of attack by Biyombo. They get it into Sharch. Good look out to Rubio. His three in the corner is off. Rebounded by Bacon finally. Bacon looking to attack Booker. Booker, good job not fouling. Swing it out. Here's a three from Rozier. Yes.
Dang.
2 straight threes from the Hornets send Monty Williams to his clipboard and a timeout.
Yeah, and in a game where both teams are really struggling to shoot three-pointers, a few makes can actually really swing things, and now that takes it from a 2-point deficit to a 4-point lead for the Hornets.
You got to be kidding me, Danny. It's a 10-point game in Philly right now.
I know. I saw it when it was 12 and went, "Oh no."
I'm gonna say we'll stay here.
For now.
I can't go back to that game in good conscience. But yeah, Philly was 11 and 19 on threes at halftime, and now 13 to 26. So they've not gotten the threes up in the second half. Seems like really, Utah. It's still a 10-point game with 3:38 left. So Philly is still like a 98% favorite, probably.
Wow, and Tony Bradley came in the game in the fourth quarter.
Well, he only played 1 minute.
Yeah, and then they brought Gobert, and I think they cut the margin enough. Oh, Lord.
Well, also, Ben has switched the Twitter to Charlotte now. So,
yeah.
Good job, Ben. It's,
You can follow
can
Ben.
tell
You
you
can follow Ben on Twitter at Ben_Dull, DULL, and you can hear him on Dunked On. We do 15-16.
Yeah. Big news here. Nick's Batum with a sore left hand is not on the Hornets bench as of 40 minutes ago.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the big news that the Knicks' 27-point halftime margin is their largest halftime margin of deficit of the season so far. Malik Andrews between getting that that's covering the Knicks. You get that experience of finding halftime deficits.
All right, we're back here. Suns now facing a 4-point deficit. Good job by Charlotte switching against that ATO, and then Oubre goes right into Biyombo, wanted a foul, but I saw a little contact there. Oh, yeah, no contact at all. That's a good block. Similar action now run by Charlotte. Graham is going to back it out on Sharts. Let's see where the help comes from. Nowhere as Graham crosses him up. Got a good look. Biyombo tipped it out, but it goes right to Sharch.
And I wish Booker pushed. The Hornets had 4 guys back, but I wish he pushed a little harder there originally.
Yeah, Biyombo, nice rebound. His Booker shot was way off. Here's Bacon rolling in on Oubre. Euro steps right into him. Oubre did well to disrupt. Miss layup. Now Booker coming right back on Williams. Doesn't want to pull up on him again. Now he'll take it. That's a 3. 2 misses in a row from Booker could have changed the complexion of this game.
So you're thinking about 8 possessions each way. That 4-point margin is pretty manageable, but this is an important possession to keep it close.
Yeah, Charlotte with the ball. They get the switch. Graham swings it. They want to get the post up. Marvin Williams on Oubre. Late clock. Graham with the fake. Back to Williams. Eludes in the corner. Off.
They're
going to call the foul. Wow. Yeah, it looks like as Williams swung past, Oubre stuck his arm out and grabbed him. Let's see if we can catch it here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I misspoke. That was Bridges who grabs him. Yeah, that's a shooting foul. And the foul took place before the shot clock went off.
Well, if it makes you feel better, it's 12 points with 2:45 to go. So, as time running through the sands of the hourglass is helpful to our decision. Is that a... No, it's not. So, in this game, I was just realizing we should talk about foul trouble. Miles Bridges, not the foul committing Bridges there, he has 5. PJ Washington, who we haven't even seen, has 4.
Yeah, I think defensively... PJ Washington has 11 points in 18 minutes, but I think they really want Bacon out there to guard Booker, and he's done a pretty decent job from what we've seen so far.
And then that was Mikal Bridges' fifth, and then Ty Jerome, who's probably not going to come back in this game, has 4 fouls. So, you should mention that. Ty Jerome, first NBA game, 4 points, 2 of 4 from the field, missed his only 3, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals in 12 minutes.
Yeah, so interesting that and Tyler Johnson hasn't played. I want to see if he has some injury issues, but I think they really, Johnson probably not a part of their long-term plans. Yeah, no injury listed right now for Johnson that I can see.
Yeah, I got confused because I saw Cam Johnson coming off the floor, and I guess I thought it was Tyler Johnson. But yeah, Cam's in the rotation right now.
Yeah, so I mean, and that makes sense. Johnson hasn't been amazing this year, and Jerome is obviously more a part of their long-term future. So that was a huge call, sending Marvin Williams to the line as the Hornets really can take a commanding lead here. This will be free throws 8, 9, and 10 for Marvin Williams. When do you think the last time Marvin Williams shot 10 free throws in a game was?
And he could, if he makes these, he becomes the leading scorer in the game.
Should we make a bet on how long ago it's been? I'm gonna bet you it hasn't happened since before he was in Utah.
I was gonna say 2013.
Yeah, I think he would have been in Utah at that point.
To the Basketball Reference.
Well, you can wait until a break.
I will. I know. I can.
Here's Oubre. Now Rubio out of the corner. Roll man is Saric. Into traffic and fouled.
Big
Score
play.
it. They needed that one desperately.
And that allows me to go to the game finder on Basketball Reference. So we're looking for 10 plus free throw attempts?
Yeah, 10 or more. And congratulations to Marvin Williams for making all 10 of those free throws, too. He doesn't get a lot of practice at the foul line. So Saric brings it back within 4. What is it?
2012 in Atlanta.
Yes! Here's Williams slipping the screen. They switch that nicely to take it away. Get it back into Graham's hands now with 10 on the clock. Biyombo on the roll. Swing it to Rozier. Blows past Booker. Under Biyombo. Blows the layup. Rebound. Goes back up. And he's fouled. And that time Devin Booker did not defend well against Terry Rozier. Fell asleep off the ball and let Rozier just cut right in front of him.
A quick score update around the league. Phillies up 10 with 1:26 to go, so lead should be safe. Atlanta up 78-58 against the Warriors early in the fourth. Indiana up 10 at Memphis at halftime. And the Bucks beating the crap out of the Knicks.
Yeah, that's...
Bismack Biyombo, not the same free throw shooter as Marvin Williams. So that's interesting. Did Bridges... No, he did. I don't think he fouled out. I think they gave that foul to somebody else. But Mikal Bridges out in favor of Frank Kaminsky for crunch time.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Kaminsky at center is just so rough defensively. Kaminsky screening for Booker, rips it through. Saric in the corner, good close from Biyombo. Finds Kaminsky on the roll. Now they're in the swing. Oubre's 3 is off. Rebounded by Rozier, ahead to Bacon, going in on Rubio, had to just toss it up. He went for the jump stop, realized he's about to travel, and then just threw it up in the air. That was terrible. He's still out of the play. Rubio on the drive, and he scores, bringing the Suns within 3, 2:25 remaining. What a disastrous fast break by Dwayne Bacon.
You could argue that cost them at least 2 points because it gave up an easy fast break.
And they didn't run any more time down either. They had a 5-point lead. They could have pushed it to 7. Now, I think they're going to look to switch this. Instead, they say, no, let's get into the post to Marvin Williams. Nice job by Booker pressuring and Rubio. But here's the floater from Graham. Rebound, Graham. And they can run a little more clock now. Not too much, though. Everyone's looking a little tired. 7 on the clock. Biyombo sprinting up for the screen. Switch the angle. Rozier snakes it, going at Kaminsky, lays it up and in. Again, you see Kaminsky just has no chance at the rim defensively. Rubio has Saric on the roll, throws it behind. Good deflection from Rozier, but Rubio sneaks back out to the top of the key.
And then airballs. Jeez. Oh, my God.
Oof.
Oh.
Yeah, Ricky Rubio, the shooting was okay at the very start of the year, and it has been pretty rough since then.
Yeah, that was I believe his 6th missed 3 of the game. It might have been 5th, depending on if my box score. He's 0 for 5.
Yeah, and for those who say, hey, Booker should have the ball more, he should do more. Well, with Rubio out there not able to make a shot, it makes it difficult. You got to put the ball in his hands a little more so the defense will respect him. Double high screen for Graham. They're going to switch this. He'll back it out on Saric. Saric shading him to the left. Graham goes into Saric and draws a killer foul.
And a part of my the Devontae Graham stuff I was doing today is he's really upped his free throw attempt rate. I mean, he went from about 20% of his attempts all the way up to 25%, and that might even go up. No, it's not going to go up. These are his 3rd and 4th free throws.
Well, when you consider how much his usage has gone up as well.
Yeah.
That's as a percentage of his field goals, sure, it's not that big of an increase, but just the raw
He's taking
number.
so many more shots.
Yeah.
Yes, his free throw attempts per 36 minutes have gone up pretty.
Yeah, and he's got 12 assists tonight too, despite the off shooting at 5 out of 17.
And he's +9 in a game his team is leading by 5. Yeah, I think there was probably at least one good bench stretch because the way they structure Graham and Rozier is that usually one of them's on the floor.
Yeah, so you have to say here for the Suns, Devin Booker, I mean, really the only shots, like he hasn't taken a single shot off of a design play in the half court this whole time we've been watching, I don't think. He had a backdoor, he had those 2 threes in transition, and then he had one shot from the dotted line that just bounced to him off of a rebound. So, yeah, I think if you're going to make the criticism that they're not getting him involved enough, and it's not like they're scoring like crazy here. Let's see what this stoppage is. Maybe the clock just, I think the clock just didn't start.
Clock didn't start.
So, a 7-point game. I mean, Suns are pretty much sunk here at this point. They need.
The Jazz are only down 7.
But yeah,
42
seconds left.
Yeah. If it goes to a single possession game, we'll jump.
Rubio looking for Booker, doesn't see him. Instead, it's Kaminsky floating in, and this is going to be an and one. Terrible foul by the Hornets. The one thing you don't want to do is foul on a 2-pointer, and it was Rozier who got fooled, lost sight of Kaminsky for a moment, and then went for the steal, and Kaminsky hit the floater right as Rozier arrived. So good start for the Suns here. Oh, missed free throw. That's a killer, but he gets it back. Here's Booker. Swings it to Oubre. His 3. Good. What a sequence. That's a 5-point possession for Phoenix, and they're within 2. It's a whole new game. What a disastrous sequence again for the Hornets. Now Phoenix pressuring up. Don't want to foul there. They've only got 4 seconds to get it over. They're just about to get a violation.
Oh,
wow. And why didn't Oubre pressure up? He could have forced the violation. Now Graham, 10 on the clock, into the lane, drops it for Biyombo. The terrible hands. He gets stuffed. Biyombo could not control the great pass from Graham. Booker looking to attack. He can give Phoenix the lead here. He's got Rozier. Backdoor Oubre missed him. Back to Kaminsky. Now it's Booker again. Kaminsky on the roll, not there. Swing it to Rubio. Oubre lights the 3 again. Oh, man. Charlotte, another disastrous blown lead. 19.8 left. Suns by 1. They score 8 points in 2 possessions.
Unbelievable. So now, I mean, you want to, as the Hornets, have to shoot quickly unless you're so confident in your offense because you want to get at least one bite at the apple. And with it being a 1-point margin, you can foul, give up 2 free throws, and still have a chance. I'm assuming they still have 1 free throw because almost every coach is holding the last two for the end now.
Wow, can you believe this? The Hornets led by 7 with under a minute remaining. And great patience there by the Suns. They didn't rush it, knowing they're only down 2. Booker had a couple of attempts, didn't force the pass, didn't force the shot instead. swung the ball, trusted his teammates, and Oubre, huge three to put the Suns up by 1. This isn't quite as terrible as the collapse against the Bulls, but it's right up there.
It is. I mean, especially when you consider what in those circumstances. Remember, they gave up. It was a 2-point shot. If you just give up that 2-point shot, they're still up 5. Instead, they get the free throw, give up the free throw, offensive rebound, and then everything else spills from there.
Yeah, they failed to box out the shooter. I think it was Kaminsky who got the rebound off his own miss, right? So let's see what James Borrego is going to have to run here. They've advanced the ball in the front court. P.J. Washington is back. They're going to put in Cam Johnson as a defensive replacement for Saric. So look for the Suns to switch everything. I don't know if Cam Johnson is much better than Saric defensively.
Or at all better.
But yeah, Marvin Williams is the center here for Charlotte. They get it into Washington, looking to bring Graham out of the backcourt. Gets the ball. Oh, they lost it out of bounds. I think they knocked it off of his thigh. We couldn't see it that well. Yeah, Oubre just got his hand in it, and really just not a ton of alacrity to that movement. Yeah, Oubre got his hand in clean right off the knee, and so now they're going to have to deny the ball in bounds and foul here once the ball is inbounded. 1 timeout remaining for the Hornets. They deny it. Now it's Rubio ahead of the field, and Miles Bridges has to grab him from behind. It'll send an excellent clutch free throw shooter to the foul line in Rubio.
Yeah, and remember, when we started this, I think the Hornets had a 15-4 run to start the quarter, and it's probably been something similar to that to close this quarter. Whew.
Yeah, Charlotte they led 104-97 with under a minute remaining, I believe.
I'll get the actual time.
And now Phoenix with a chance. Yeah, two
minute flat. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 made free throws is going to reduce their point per possession output in these last couple of minutes by 50%. They're scoring 4 points per possession in their last bit. So Saric is going to be out again now for Johnson in the event that the Hornets look to push it up. I think I probably would do that. I think I'd save the timeout here with 14.1 left. Rubio's first free throw curls in. So do you agree with me? Would you push it up here? I think especially if they're down 3, then you really want to push it up. I think it's easier to get a 3.
I agree with you.
When you're pushing up.
And you might need it later.
Yeah. Now they are going to take the timeout, it appears.
Those Suns fans should be more excited.
I mean, they were pretty excited when he hit the two 3-pointers in a row. Kelly Oubre, first one came after a Kaminsky 3-point play. He misses the free throw, gets the free throw offensive rebound out to Oubre for a 3. That cut a 7-point lead to 2. Then Charlotte could not get anything at the other. Was that the Biyombo fumble?
Here, let me look. So this is after the first Oubre 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Biyombo one.
Yeah. Graham had a great pass to Biyombo. His hands, he might have the worst hands of any big in the NBA right now. And then they come right back. Good patience. No timeout. Swing it to Oubre. Left wing 3. And that put Phoenix up 1. They scored 8 points in 2 possessions. And then another atrocious turnover where the play was to get Devontae Graham coming from the backcourt into the front court and hand off from P.J. Washington. And Graham just kind of jogged into it, and Oubre got the steal. Phoenix, by the way, at the top of the NBA in forcing turnovers, and we saw how good that's been. All right, so they're admonishing Cam Johnson that he can't come too close to P.J. Washington. You see Johnson trying to take away that curl to the corner with his positioning. Switching everything is Phoenix. They get it in. Finally, Graham is open. He didn't take the 3. Now he pulls it. Way short. Great defense by Kelly Oubre. 7'2" wingspan of Kelly Oubre really disrupted Devontae Graham. I thought he should have taken the initial shot right off the catch. Now it's Booker. They get it into Johnson, and they follow him in that trap. So Devin Booker with a chance to ice it. Hornets are out of timeouts. One free throw here should do it.
And what a catastrophic swing for the Hornets to like. What was the last time they had anything even touch the rim?
And a catastrophic swing for Hornets over as well.
Baby.
I think they're still going to get it. All they have to do is win 15 more games the rest of the season, and they'll push. It was 23 wins when we did the over-under podcast. There is that free throw from Booker. That should do it. Hornets would really be hard-pressed to score 4 more points in an empty gym right now.
So I believe the last time anything went through or touched the rim for Charlotte was at 111 when Devontae Graham made those free throws.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly Oubre, what a hero he's been. The 2 3-pointers, got the steal, knocking it off of Graham. Then great defense on Graham again on the potential tying 3-pointer. Graham tries to draw contact and did not get it.
I thought they called it, which would be
and
weird.
That'll do it. 109-104. The Suns score 12 points in the last minute of the game to 0 for the Hornets. Unbelievable collapse, but a great win for the Phoenix Suns, who had been a little bit underperforming their point differential. They get one back tonight.
They do. So thank you so much for enjoying this. You can check out our friends at bookies.com, patreon.com/Duncan LaRue for our subscriber-only content, which we really do appreciate. There will be a Dunked On release tonight/tomorrow morning, depending on how late you stay up where you are. And we will be back with an NBA cast. I don't know the exact timing because I don't know if you're doing one while I'm gone.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it on Wednesday of next week. But yeah, don't listen to me because I said we weren't doing one last week and then we did one. So let me see what I actually have on the calendar.
But that's a good reason to follow it on Twitter, and we also have a calendar that measures things as well.
Yeah, well here let me tell you when I'm actually doing it here before we go. So yeah, I think Clippers at Toronto on Wednesday.
I need to get your clip fix
At 4. I could actually probably even get to Chase Center for the Warriors game after that too. Yeah, let's do it. I think I'm going to do that rather than Philly at Boston because then I might be able to go skiing.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of snow here now. But I mean, Clippers at Toronto, I wasn't going to do that initially because of the Warriors game.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I don't care about the Warriors game anymore. I'd rather just do this. But yeah, Danny's gonna be in France.
Yeah.
Hope your sling box is working. I guess synergy
I'll be good.
is the way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for joining us on this non-traditional episode. There, it's still on. Let me. The remote mouse wasn't working.